Ah, yeah, we live still. I respect for everybody bearing with me. We live now. It's Ghetto Energy time. To all of the 5 people in, tell your friend to tell a friend. We're here. And got Father X in the building, you get me? So yeah,
Yep.
it's another Ghettoology with the big man, Dr. X. This time, the topic's called the Hollywood effect. So your X,
Yeah.
what's the
I'm
Hollywood effect?
here. Well, you know what I mean, that's like to say hello to everyone first and all that. Big up content over everything. Big up the nation as it stands. The aware nation that is. The aware black nation. Tonight, yeah, as you know, tonight's topic is the Hollywood effect, and really, what the Hollywood effect is about is the effect Hollywood achieved. Reason why I use Hollywood effect because I think in the 21st century we have to start to define some new terms that belongs in the 21st century and not in the 20th. You understand? It seems to be like no one seems to want to move on. Everybody wants to deal with the old stuff, and the black intellect is becoming so crippled and so handicapped by the Hollywood effect. And within the effect is also the music and you know what I'm saying, blah blah blah. Which I'll get onto later, how I've come to all this Hollywood effect type of stuff and rare. But the Hollywood effect as it stands. One second. The Hollywood effect, as it stands, um, is about trying to move it to that next level. I mean, as I said, try to introduce new words, new terminology into 21st century to trying to understand the pressure that black people are on across the globe, and black people are under pressure across the globe, and also like there's different arguments we should be having different arguments by now. You know what I'm saying? In this a new decade, we're entering into a new decade, and there's a lot of things that are happening to us that we're not taking attention to because the system as it stands has purposely retarded the black groups across the globe. You know what I'm saying? America, Canada, England, Jamaica, Trinidad. You know what I'm saying? They purposely retarded that group. So what they've done and how been able to retard that group is to use Hollywood and everything connected to the media. Yeah, I'm saying. So what they first after they first destroyed us and enslaved us as a group, because remember, if anybody's not clear upon my view, I think that white people are they're racist by nature. I think they're racist because this is not their planet and they're foreign to this world. Yeah, I'm saying, so they have to be racist in order to survive. So they're racist by nature. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother topic and blah blah blah. But be clear what my understanding is about the white race, the Europeans and the Caucasian. So a lot of what they're doing is kind of planned out in order to suppress, oppress, and regress the original human beings on the planet. Now it is clear as far as we understand anyway that the mitochondrial Eve is a black woman. Just the other day they did the cheddar man, the cheddar man, and they said and they painted him as black. Now sometimes I jump around and sometimes I don't finish words sometimes because I've got so much things I want to say. Sometimes I cut stuff off before I finish it and start something else. So bear with me. So the mitochondrial Eve is black. Yeah, we're clear about that. Most. So that means that the story of Adam and Eve, as white people, is false. It's a lie. So one then asks oneself, why would they want to paint that picture? You know what I'm saying? If they're not, like a bad, nefarious, malevolent race in on the outset, yeah. Why would you want to do something like that on the planet Earth? You know what I'm saying? If you're not malevolent, yeah. Why would you want to paint yourselves as a part of the beginning of creation when in truth you're not a part of the beginning of creation? So in truth, then, and as most people are gathering to know, the original human beings on Earth were black. Everywhere the Europeans have gone from the beginning of time, they've encountered. Nobody knows where Europeans came from. They came from apes, or we all supposed to came from apes. We now know that the stories are differing, and there's lots more things going to come out within the next century and stuff like that as technology moves on. So they're at a place, Europeans are at a place where they've had to put themselves into history. They've had to place themselves into history. You get what I'm saying? And by doing so, they've had to lie about a lot of stuff within history. They've had to make believe. Remember, I'm clear. They're nefarious and they're malevolent. You know what I'm saying? As a being on Earth and as a being to Earth. Yeah, they do not treat the Earth properly as a place to live, as an organic planet. Obviously, it's organic because when you get stuff out of the Earth and it's not tampered with by aliens, they call it organic. So that must mean the planet is organic. Yeah. So they don't treat the organic planet. So therefore, they don't treat the people who are organic to the planet very well either, and they have never done. As from wherever they come from. Now, I don't have the answers. Remember, I'm hypothesizing. Yeah, I'm theorizing. Yeah, somebody else say, "Oh, oh, well, you can't say that. You can't say." I can say that because I'm using established behaviors, established historical behaviors, established historical, whether visual, whether audio, whether written documents that state certain aspects of the behavior of the Caucasians and the race. So leading on from that, when you're dealing with Hollywood, when you're dealing with the Hollywood effect, back in the day, the Druids used to use the holly tree, and the wood of that tree as a magic wand. Yeah. So even just being called Hollywood, it's like
You say you used to use that?
the Druids.
The Druids. Who's that?
Yeah, round in the Stonehenge time, the people who lived back
Okay.
then,
Okay.
to use it as a magic wand to cast spells. So it's called Hollywood. It's from the holly tree. Yeah, and it's a wooden. I'll tell you. In Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You see the stick that you somewhere in some of the dialogue you hear that it's a Hollywood stick. Yeah, it's a stick made of holly. Yeah, so most according to myth and legend are made out of Hollywood. Yeah, the wood from the holly tree. Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? It lines up with the term. The first name of Hollywood was Hollywood Land before they bought it out. You know what I'm saying? And it became just Hollywood. Still Hollywood Land. It's just the land of the end. So that first infers you that there's going to be a bit of magic then, isn't it? If they call it Hollywood, and just so happens it's the same as the ones that they make from how they make ones in wood from the holly tree, because it's meant to have magical properties. That's what the place is called. So as they've gone to take over, they enslaved the blacks. You know what I'm saying? Now let's be clear about one thing, because they keep mentioning this about slavery and how we have enslaved and people have enslaved. The type of slavery that the Caucasians put on the blacks across the globe, yeah, from I'm not separating myself as an African. I'm separating myself as a human being, as a black man on this planet, the original species that was seeded on this planet. So, as an original person, they've come along and they've tried to destroy us as a being. I still can't answer to you come from, yeah, because they're trying to make this whole evolution theory, and we know that's argumentative, but we can't argue all arguments in one lecture. It just cannot be done. So I'm just hitting on that. So where was I? Yeah. So they're quite nefarious. They're quite what we'd say off key, and the balance is not on with Earth. Their rhythm to the Earth, their skin, and also lots of stuff. They're not in rhythm with this Earth. They're not in time with this Earth. So they've used after the, yeah, I'm sorry, this is what I was going to say. I was talking about the slavery, and I was saying that within slavery and many other types of slavery that have happened across the land, none has been as wicked as the Caucasian and the African. Yeah, so that's the type we're talking about. We're not talking about a butler is a kind of a slave. Yeah, a maid servant, you know what I'm saying, is a kind of a slave. But you wouldn't call them a slave because they're treated quite well. They have quarters downstairs and blah blah. You know what I'm saying? But they're a kind of a slave because they're in bondage to their masters. Yes, master. Yes, my lord, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But the type of slavery that black people was under over the last 500 years was one of the most wickedest, horrendous types of treatment of a human being that's probably been recorded on the planet. Now, when they go back to look at any other type of slavery, where they want to talk about, Africans and Africans and all that, yeah, they did. Maybe they did. But there's no evidence of any such torturous, wicked, malevolent, and brutal, savage treatment of the people. There's no evidence of that. But there is evidence that the white Caucasian people of this planet have treated the black original people of this planet with such disdain, such heart, such terror, such brutal savagery that they cannot even record it themselves. They hide the recordings, mostly some of it visual and some of it written. They hide the recordings most oftentimes of what they've done. But and as you know, in the early days, on the internet, like around 2005, there was loads of pictures going around of all different types of hangings and that they've got pictures of. There's many people across America who've got pictures, maybe old pictures or paintings of some debauchery or some horrendous treatment of blacks over that period of time recorded. And then as the internet grew older, they started to censor them. But I've seen some of them, and I'm sure some of them still exist. But now they're censoring them. So tell me, put them on Facebook or anywhere else, they won't let them stay up for long. But they treated us with such. That's not how slaves were treated. So be careful when you say slaves, and don't put before the term slave chattel, ChatTel. That is when a human being, according to the Europeans, has been taken as an object, as a thing, not as a person. So the inhumane treatment means inhumane breaks down to mean non-human. So that means that these people were treating us as non-human. And I asked the question, were they human in the first place? Yeah, I'm saying because we were the original human beings. You can't treat a non-dog as a dog. You know what I'm saying? A dog as a non-dog. You can't treat a cat as a non-cat. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot treat a non-horse, a horse as a non-horse. It's a horse. If you treat it as a non-horse, you're gonna either do something to enhance it or to debase it. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what they've been doing. They took the original human being as aliens to the planet, or alien people. Alien. You know what the term alien? It just means foreign. Foreign to every land that they've ever been in. They've been foreign and then taken these people and debased them and put them down to things. So either they're not human because we've always been human. So one has to ask, what is in the European or the Caucasian that makes him so inhumane? That means what makes the European so non-human? Yeah. What makes him act so non-human? Yeah. Or inhumane. Both of them words mean the same thing. So if he's non-human, why was we telling him that we were human? Because we are not of the understanding that there are other people on the planet that probably don't have human origins or mixed with another type of being to create this vicious, malevolent, wicked, imbalance with earth type of being. Yeah. And it doesn't matter whether anybody agrees or not, because of theory. I'm just trying to make a point. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter whether you agree or not. What I'm saying is that how you disagree is very important. You can't just, no, it's rubbish. You're gonna have to show me how this is not, this what I'm saying doesn't make sense. Now, this inhumane being created a chattel slavery. So there's no comparison between black African slavery or any other type of slavery where you give you enslave the person, you feed them well, you treat them well, or treat them well enough. I mean, you don't have them living in their piss and shit. Yeah, you don't rape their children. You don't throttle them, in their sleep. You don't tie them up on trees and hang them or beat them to death. You don't hold them tie them between horses and rip them apart. You don't dig out the baby of a live woman, and throw it on the ground and smash its head as to scare the other people. That's not what slavery is. That is the work of a beast. That is the work of an inhumane being. And because you've been indoctrinated in a lot of this religious stuff, you can't tell the difference between a non-human who looks like a human and a human. All humans would have been black. All humans. Yeah, that's how a human is built. A human is built as a black man all across the planet. That's why everywhere you go on the planet, any type of history you find, whether it's China, Japan, Russia, we are not there no longer, which means that that inhumane being has had to wipe us out, because there is no history of black people in these lands. There's always these Caucasian looking type of people, you know what I'm saying, who have to hide from the sun, which I don't get, because no black people anywhere on the face of the earth hides from the sun or shades from the sun, apart from under a tree. They don't need to walk around in the shade. Umbrellas and shaded hats and sombreros and big wide brim, hats, they don't wear it. So let's be clear. So I'm going to make that point again. The slavery that they tried to endorse and tried to mix up with black people is nothing like chattel slavery. Remember those words, CHATTEL. That's when you take a human being as a thing, which is what they did to us. Now, the only reason you can say that is, they're humans and that's what they did to us. No, a human being doesn't know, you know what I mean? A cat does not know how to act like a dog. Yeah, and a dog does not know how to act like a horse. Yeah, so a non-human maybe don't know how to act like a human, and a human finds it very difficult. A real human would find it very difficult to act non-human. So those are questions and answers. Well, they're questions at least for another day. But this is the point I'm making. Now, obviously, I'm going to repeat them along my shows and when I'm talking. I'm clear. I'm clear about it. Whether people can manage it because their next door neighbor's white, or their cousin's mixed race, or their girlfriend's white, or their girlfriend's mixed race, or their baby mother's mixed race, and all that, I can't help nobody with that. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You know what I mean? The truth has been, when these people came into play on this planet, they hid the truth. They became liars and deceivers. Same thing that, like when the Muslims just say, "Oh, the white man is the devil," they don't say, and what happened to them? They got scared or something. But they've introduced a level to this planet that only leaves pain and suffering for the people who are on this or originate on the planet, and slowly but surely they're wiping them out. So when you disassociate yourself with other blacks, other humans on the planet, and keep saying that you're African because of your local history or your recent history, I think you're doing the planet and human beings a disservice when you just think that you're just an African, because long before you was African, nobody knew who you was except for you're African or black. So in reverse, what I've been saying for many, many years, yeah, we are black first. We're not African first. And people say there's no place called black. I've proved it many times that there are many places called black. You know what I'm saying? Long before Africa. So again, that's another argument for another day again. But still, I've been vocal enough to have public arguments. Like I said, I've had a public argument with a number of people turning up about, are we black or are we African? You know what I'm saying? And I made my point again, and I will continue to make my point.
Yo, X.
Yeah.
Someone in the comments asks, could you ask Doctah if whites are genetically predisposed to be evil?
Well, no, they're not. I don't think they're predisposed to be. I think they're alien. They're alien to this planet, so they're predisposed to be who they are. Evil is what we think they are. They think they are being who they are. That's like saying, like when somebody sees a deer on the TV and they see it being attacked, like a lion comes and it's there, oh, it's nice and flowery music's playing and pretty, and all of a sudden the lion jumps out of nowhere, and that's his dinner. And he said, oh, that wicked animal, it's just eating the deer, but he needs to eat the deer to survive. You know what I'm saying? He's not eating the deer for fun. He's not shooting it for the fun of it. He's shooting it because he needs it to survive. So The European, I don't believe, or the Caucasian, because I don't, it's difficult to find out what their beginning is because they're connected to all of those groups: the Chinese, the white Chinese, the white Asians, the white Arabs. They're all one group. They're not separate groups, but they've conquered different parts of the earth at different points in the timeline, and then mess with the historical timeline. So you can't pick out who is who. You can't find out where the reptilian gene came from, and that's another story. But quickly, I'll go into that maybe a little bit later on. But you can't find out where they started because they're always hiding. They're always, as I mean, this is not me just saying it, willfully. They're hiding all the time. They lie to each other. They purposefully lie all the time. So I don't think they're predisposed. I think they're predisposed to be who they are from wherever they're from. Just like I said with the lion, just like with the ant, the soldier ant is predisposed to march through the Amazon jungle and just nyam up people, overrun other nests, take other nests on. You know what I'm saying? It's predisposed to do that. Is that evil? I don't know. Depends on what your point of view is. It's evil to us, but it's a behavior that's inherent. That's what I would say. The behavior that you see is inherent and it cannot be changed. So all these ideas, this is why we're going to go into the Hollywood effect, because it's about pretending and acting. All these ideas that you think they're going to be, they're going to want to, if they wanted to share this planet with the human beings that were originally here, they would have done it a long time ago. They wish to destroy the humans that are here and replace us with artificial beings or artificial intelligence or whatever you want to say. They've been doing it for a number of years.
Well, AI is coming in now still.
Well, there you have it. Well, whatever they were doing, they were going to replace you because we're not sure what their beginnings are. You know what I'm saying? Because people have been so hot on trying to find out how African they are, and whilst they're using all the technology, all the PCs, all the DJ equipment, all what I'm saying, everything they're using, but not even tracking where this comes from, or not even thinking how they're still stuck in the 20th century or even the 19th, still thinking that they're Superman and they're the man and all this kind of stuff while two men are kissing on TV. You know what I'm saying? Like we've gone way past that, but our community seems to only want to sell us because they can, remember, they control everything. So again, I'll finish answering that question. I don't think they're predisposed to be evil. I think they are what they are. Their behavior is who they are. You know? And so you will never be able to get them to be like you. This is why they're constantly copying us. You know what I'm saying? And when we copy them, 9 times out of 10, when a black man copies and acts like a white man, you say he's off key. Black people say he's off key. White people say he's on key. You know what I'm saying? They say, oh, that's a proper guy because he's not acting like a white man. But then they're all trying to, they're trying to learn our finger clipping or dancing. When we first started to dance, they couldn't dance. It took them a whole generation before they learned how to. They could, pick up on an aspect, or the rhythm, copying of the rhythm and breaking down our rhythms to numbers and being able to copy. You know what I'm saying? They're not native to the planet. If they're not native anywhere, it means they're not native to the planet. You know what I'm saying? They're not native to the planet if they're not native anywhere. You know what I'm saying? The Neanderthal gene, as you know, as people who are who would say are aware or are awake or open, you know what I'm saying, in terms of info, would know that we don't share that DNA with them. They are another species of being. So once you start to understand, you can't let technology come and you're not alongside with it and understanding how it then breaks everything up and chops everything up so you can see things more clearly. So if you're still thinking about, oh yeah, they come from the mountains, the Caucasus Mountains, and yeah, they're white, and because their nose got thin because it was cold and they was breathing, and they couldn't breathe because if you're still on that, it's like, that's like thinking, there's a bogeyman in the fucking cupboard. It's still, like Santa Claus is real. Like that was a time ago when that could have been believed, but now, that's ridiculous. And to the information that's available now, those stories are ridiculous. Or some guy made them, Yakub made them, and these things they don't make sense to me, as I said.
The same brother, Tanverchima, he asked, how did Doctah come to these conclusions?
Because I bothered to think about him. I realized, I wanted to know why we ain't winning, why we ain't moving forward at all. And there's so much information, and the internet opened up a whole, there's so much stuff out there. You know what I mean? Before, I used to have to go to different libraries, and if I got an idea, I'd have to try and research it. Now the internet's open and it's got the whole, everything you need to know. You know what I'm saying? And you know, this, now you can't blame me for being racist, because a lot of the information, what made me realize that white people are foreign to this planet was through another white man. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no black people talking about that. It was a white man that I sat down and listened to, and I realized, you know, what they always do with most of these, like Michael Tussorian, Alex Jones, and oh god, the main man is mine's just
David
gone out my
Icke.
head. David Icke. Yeah, David Icke. You know, these guys, they never mention black people. No matter how much they talk about what was before and the reptilians and the wicked, they never mention black people. They never give black people.
I see David Icke go to South Africa one time and talk to one chief.
Yeah, Craig Moffat.
Yeah.
Who said, and he said that he had connections with the reptilians and all that. That guy.
Yeah. I see it ages ago on VHS. You get me? It was that long ago, so I can't even remember all of it.
Yeah, that was the early one. Yeah, that's right.
Craig, I swear I see the same brother with Africa Bambaataa as well, though. So I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I even when David Icke was interviewing him, he said that then I don't know if it was the reptilians or something held him down and raped him, innit? And since then he turned into a Batman himself.
Is that so?
Yeah.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much to be awake for and to open up and see. That when you listen to music that say, you know, suck a girl and fuck a girl and rah, and jump up and down and girl up again, a big body girl and rah. When you're listening to that low level of music, you won't be able to understand that stuff. That's like me talking like Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, and then I say conflagration of certain innotations within the confines of the system that we live in. You know, you're just like, what am I talking about? You understand what I'm saying? Because one language is dumb, and one, I don't say dumb, is early and beginning, and one language is advanced. Same language. You know what I'm saying? So we're feeding ourselves, instead of feeding ourselves with more, you know, instead of having, remember, I don't know if you remember the days when, you know, people used to lyric, and they were so smart. You get a man going, skirt, yeah, lyrics. And then, you know what I'm saying? And you're thinking, all that's really doing is making a sound of a music like a retard. You know, and then singing songs about chemical drugs like, you know, like Percocet and, you know, these drugs that are chemicals. You know what I'm saying? And smoking weed and lean and, you know what I'm saying, skunk and all kinds of manners of stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like the environment that most blacks are living in is not conducive to advancement. The music that you listen, it's not. You can go one side, and then if you live in another whole kind of area where you educated yourself, blah blah blah, and you had a strict mother and strict dad, and you're able to educate yourself and have a certain exposure to this music, you might be in a lot more control over what you're listening to. You know what I'm saying? Because you know there's an alternate way, alternate life. But the people that live in this world and think that this is life is, you know, it slows everybody down, because the impulse control, as you know, is not there. You know what I'm saying? The rationale is gone completely. You can see in the young people that they lack impulse control. The amount of sex that's going on amongst blacks in terms of having these extra kids, you know, like even Buju, as we know, the other day, he's got 7. I didn't even realize he had that many kids, 17. You know what I'm saying? What is one man doing with 17 kids? Now, if you've got 17 kids, you should live in an 18-bedroom house, or if at least, you know what I mean, or at least two 9-bedroom house stuck together. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you've got 17 kids, you're supposed to be able to manage, you know, how many, if it's like, I don't know, maybe if it's 10 baby mothers or 15 baby mothers, you're supposed to be able to manage 15 place in one place, so that you can wake up in the morning and see your children and go to bed and see your children. This idea that you can have these slave children in the 21st century and still think that the world is going to turn out right for those kids, you're out of your mind. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're becoming kids, they don't see no dad. So this continuation of this rampant sex and this music that promotes just having sex with children, with girls and all that and stuff like that, doesn't open your mind for none of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you want to stay close to your culture, and you want to they what the culture, what they're allowing the culture to come off with, because they're making sure that the places where the cultures are the strongest are the places where they take away the money for the schooling, where they don't want them to school. So white people have no intention of equating black people on this planet. As I said before, if they had an intention, it would have been here. As I said before, you cannot look at something and try to rationalize it as a human being and say that it's okay for one man to be sitting down on $100 billion or £100 billion or whatever, while a whole island or a whole country is starving to death. There's no way you can rationalize that unless you're not human, because that's not what a human would do. A human being don't do that. No human tribe or group or social group on this planet would behave in that manner. It just wouldn't happen. Because remember, the original humans are black all over the planet. You know what I'm saying? They're not African. They're just black. They might have started as African, but the human beings are black. Can't all be African. You know what I'm saying? You know, you get what I'm saying? Like Australians and New Zealanders, all these people have been wiped out. All the blacks from New Zealand and all that you know, that dance that they do and all that. That's from black people. That's not from the mixed race people that you're seeing there now. That's a mixed race now, and they're going to keep doing that across the planet. You know, and they've been doing that across the planet. This is not new. This takeover is not new. So you're asking me where I get it from. I'm saying that it's all out there. I'm not sitting down and making up in my head. But I can't tell people where to look, because what I've realized over time is that I will tell someone where to look, and what I pick up, they totally miss. So I'm tuned at a certain frequency. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm the ghettoologist. I'm tuned at a certain frequency to pick up certain stuff. And then I have the ability to regurgitate that stuff to people who don't pick up that frequency. So you see what I'm saying? So it's difficult to say to someone, oh, like many people ask, what book did you read? Or what books do you suggest and all that? Because people are reading them, and what I read in them and what I see, what I deduce from them, they don't get. You know what I mean? All those books, you know, like Van Sertima, you know, Amos Wilson. There's so many books that I've read that, you know what I'm saying? And the white books as well, you know what I mean? David Icke. Then we're talking about the lectures I've been to. Then we're talking about the science music, the museums that I've been to. Then we're talking about the exhibits that I've been to. It's not, you can't just, you know what I mean? You can't just pick it up like that. You have to be tuned. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then some people say, oh, well, I'll meditate and I'll or whatever to try and get tuned. And yeah, I get that. People can meditate, but some people are not designed. That's why some people can fight and some people can't. Some people can play, you know, easily over a period of time, and some people will never be able to do that because we're all tuned slightly differently. And some of us come from a bloodline and a family line that makes one thing easier than another according to either trauma or growth or environment. You know what I'm saying? A lot of black people have been traumatized. So the parents of the first generation's blacks in England, they didn't know shit about shit. You know what I'm saying? With all due respect to them, they was just busily working and feeding. Couple parties here and there, but I don't remember sitting down in front of no man at no time until I was nearly an adult, telling me about history or nothing. You know what I'm saying? The first person that I heard any type of history from in England was a Rasta man. You know what I'm saying? On the road, walking, you understand, and railing and just saying this thing. You understand what I'm saying? That's how, you know, for me, the first idea of being an African or being black or being, you know, something more than just somebody else's footstool came into being. Now they've messed with the African the whole. Because what white people do is they enter everything and they fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? They won't leave nothing pure. Every time they believe that they're like the thing about being superior. So if they enter something, whatever they bring, they think is better. You know what I'm saying? If they poison the water, they think it's better. If they regurgitate shit water, they think it's better. And it's usually only better for a small group of them. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, this is how it goes. Anyway, in terms of the Hollywood effect, what we have to understand is that what they are doing through media, we're clear about this one thing. White people and Caucasian people control all media. Yeah? They control every media. Yeah? The only ones you might can maybe get away with, you can print a book or whatever, but even the publishing, that book they control. Yeah? So you and the distribution. What's really important as well, what people seem to forget when they make all these little guys. I remember a few years back when all the boys on ends, yeah, were making films. Guess what films they were making? Were they making films about bees or birds? No.
Gangster films.
Every fucking one of them against the fucking movie. Every fucking one
Thanks, Tots.
from Wolverhampton, Manchester, London, Leeds. Every guy was, every youth man claiming he was a filmmaker was making a gangster movie. Can you believe that? Can you believe how we're trapped into a mindset based upon Hollywood? Tell me how that can even happen. Tell me how a people can be so entrenched in one way of thinking. Tell me how that can even happen. I don't even know how that can happen.
Man have to be programmed, didn't it? Unless it's genetically wired into man.
Right.
Then it's some external programming.
Absolutely. See, there you have it. So you got it. I would agree with that. That's what I'm saying. It's either wired into you or there's somebody programming you. Because there's no way on earth that everybody that wants to make a film wants to make a gangster film. I'm a filmmaker. I'm going to make a film. What about? Yeah, ends. He goes, I'm going to make a film. What you make? Ends. What the fuck?
And not only that, even if you want to make just like the music thing as well. Even if you want to make a tune about what's happening on the road, there's a way of art that you can make a tune and describe what's happening on the road in a manner that's glorifying what's happening in the fuckery. And then you can do like a more technique done with his tune about cocaine, where he tells the story from the growing of it over in Colombia, how the family is working on the fields for less than £2 a week, and they're being watched by overseers with big mash. If they try to run away, what's going to happen to them? Till it gets imported into the country by governments, and it gets like a blind eye gets turned to it, and then until it finally works its way down to the normal man where you hear rapping on a tune about it. You get me? If you're gonna tell the story and you're gonna include all of the different angles on why things are the way they are, then yeah, I could say make a video about the ends in it. But it's the same story and it's the same perspective that always gets told. You get me?
Of course, you got 16 albums, 16 albums worth of 16 different men talking about the same fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? That's a madness, bro. Haven't you realized that is some type of programming? That's not reality. Who the fuck just wants to listen to people talking about a girl's pussy? Now girls are calling each other's bitches. Aye, bitch. You know, like they've gone so low that being low is now the hoe is now the new in talk. How did you manage to get from being a queen and now your bitches are calling other bitches queens? So there's no control and no fucking leadership now. It's gone. You understand what I'm saying? So because the program is like I said, the distribution. You know, even if you make a decent movie, who's going to distribute it? Remember when the guy who made the Star Wars, George Lucas made that film about the black airplane.
Red Tails.
Red Tails, remember?
Talking about Red Tails.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They couldn't. He couldn't get it. They wouldn't take it on. They wouldn't take it on. He did the script. He had to make the script himself. He had to make the film himself. And after he paid and made for this, they wouldn't distribute it. You understand what I'm saying? Remember, I told you, white people are inherently racist. It doesn't matter whether it's your best friend or not. Every single one of them are racist. Clear, isn't it? Let's be clear about that. But we're talking about them as a nation ruling the earth, as a race who have taken over this earth, who have colonized this earth and turned it into a penal colony, where everything you do, they penalize you for and call it business or call it tax or whatever they want to call it. And it only goes, and all the money goes to most of the money goes to a few people. That's how white people want to live. They're happy with that arrangement. So everybody chases after each other. You know what I'm saying? To be like them. So again, the take that you have on them, I believe that we have on them, is led by them. As I said, to distribute something, you need to have it. Like if you didn't have YouTube as a distributor, how would you distribute? How many people do you think you'd get your song to? You know, this is now being heard all over the world if they want to tune in. But without that distribution, you wouldn't be able to distribute it to shit. Couple of people around the ends, and that's how most people have been stuck. A lot of people are coming up through Instagram because it's distributed all over the world, all over the place. You know what I mean? Funny people telling their stories, and they're getting massive views and becoming public figures. because people, they've got a distribution network that says, yeah, this, you know what I mean? They've made their content, which is their film, and then it's been distributed by this, you know what I mean? They don't have to go to Warner Brothers and no, they just go on Instagram. That's their distribution. White people control that too. White people made that and they control that.
But
And there's lots of,
even with the new channels of distribution where you can be more independent, it still as an influence. Well, I don't see no influence in the actual product that's being created. Like you said, like man said, from anytime it's a film now, it's still the same film. Like I know some man personally that like put their own money up to make films and that, and it's the same story what they're telling. You get me? Yeah.
They all want to make gangster movies. Nobody wants to make a movie about I don't know, a girl coming out of whatever, coming out of the ends and becoming from a whatever, there's so many stories, like millions in my head of different aspects of life itself, and all they want to make it about is about hoes and gangsters, and what I mean, which is silly. I'm saying even Idris Elba just put out a tune, Bolsies, all about, everybody wants to do the same thing. So it's becoming it shows you what a program is. It shows you what happens when they control your narrative. But yet when you go on the white side though, tell me how many people are doing that. You know what I'm saying? While they're programming you to do that, they're doing something completely different. They're moving along lines that you think, hold on a minute. And so most of the time, people are looking at mixed race people and people got white in them as a better quality of people, but they've been forced to believe that they are. And there was something on the internet the other day where a black woman had to say to her sons, you can't just be looking at girls that are light skinned, you're dark. She's dark and all her sons are dark. But they've been programmed to now look at light skinned girls. So there's hardly any black man or any black celebrity that doesn't have a light skinned woman. Before it was white, now it's light skinned. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to hold on to something.
You saying it's a step in the right direction?
Well, it must be a step in some direction, but I don't know, because once you create a light skinned people don't tend to go. The DNA that's in them tends to make a stronger white person. Light skinned people tend to go for light skinned people. They don't go for black people. So once you get light skin on one side and light skin on the other side, they're very rarely, not that they don't, but it's rare that they go with a darker skinned person. They tend to go with light skinned people. So you get a whole nother sort of race. So you end up with, like in Brazil, when the Polish and the Africans end up there, what you end up now with is mixed race people that you look at sort of bright and you say they're Spanish. No, they're not. They're mixed race. They're half, from a Polish generation and an African generation. But once you create that half caste, the superiority of the white gene says we are superior. You know what I'm saying? We are, we are superior to the human. So therefore, they go and find another mixed race, and then that keeps perpetuating itself. And so you have a whole nother generation of people coming here light skinned, and you think, oh, that's a Spanish person. No, that's a mixed race person who has sustained the development of its race by interbreeding only with itself. It's like when you do dogs, because I did a whole lecture on dogs as well. It was called Men Are Dogs and Women Are Bitches. And you can get different strains of dogs by just mixing. You know what I'm saying? Just by mixing them, they're mammals as well. So with any mammal, you can get different strains by mixing. So by mixing in a certain way, these I don't even know how this alien being became, how long it took this alien being to climatize on Earth and all that. I don't know how many years, all these hidden documents and all these hidden histories that people are trying to piece together. I don't know how long it took him to be able to, to come out into the light and to face the sun, and because you have the stories of the Dracula who couldn't stay out in the light. That's where and all that sort of stuff. All these myths that we think are myths are coming from an historical place that became a legend and then became a myth. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them are. Some of them are just, I don't know, stupidness, but because people can't put the pieces together because they're too busy looking at the next girl's fanny or the next guy's dick. You know what I mean? There's no, that's what their challenge is. Look, even in schools, the school system is not, the white Caucasian school system is not trying to make its own children better. It creates another tier of children that it wants to service its purpose, with money, and has the value system of the sort of, I use the term reptile loosely because reptiles are not mammals. You know what I mean? They come out of an egg. So they're very single-minded and cold-blooded, right? So the reptile class, for want of a better word, they pay to stay and become that people. Meanwhile, the mammal class, for want of a better word, you know what I'm saying? They shovel the garbage out. They control everything so that you pick up the garbage. So in a mammal class, they're telling you, okay, you've got to learn about, as 3-year-old, instead of learning about politics, instead of about programming in terms of money or maths at an early age, they want you to learn about homosexuality at 3. That's what they want you to learn. So one wonders, why is it you want them to learn about sex? And there's so much more to this life to learn about early that would increase their possibilities of survival. How does learning about homosexuality and not being a gender and all that, how that increases your survival? Is that because you're going to get rid of humanity completely? You know what I'm saying? Humanity, remember, is black. So you're going to get rid of black people completely and then have this kind of mixed hybrid race run the planet until you're able to get rid of them and have a complete artificial race that runs this organic planet. Which means that you're going to have to terraform this planet to more inorganic, you know what I'm saying, so that you can feel comfortable here, because it's an organic planet at the moment. So if you're inorganic and you want to create an inorganic being to hang out on here and to be whatever, you're going to have to make the planet a little bit more inorganic, and maybe that's how, and you'll destabilize it and fuck it up, and then you'll end up with a Mars situation where you just destroy the whole planet. Maybe that's what they're, I don't know if that's their intention, or if that's what, because you're a certain breed or a certain I don't know what you want to call a certain race, you know what I mean, you have this natural tendency to do what you do, like what HIV has a tendency to do, like what the flu virus has, it will kill the whole, it will be in you, cancer, it will kill you, and it will just die. You understand? Cancer will still kill you. It doesn't really care. It will just kill you. I mean, it hasn't got a viewpoint other than to murder you and just keep it moving. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that's the case, but when you look at it like that, you can say, well, you can't say, people saying, all this time they would say, no, they can never kill us, bruv. They can't never kill us. They need, oh really? Oh, really? Yeah. That's what you think, yeah? That's right, good. You keep thinking that, yeah? Because you must think all this, I'm with God and God, yeah, whatever the creators, whoever created us, for whatever purpose they created us, yeah, they did create us for this planet. But who says somebody cannot wipe them out? I don't know who says that can. You're going like we're magic or some shit. You know what I'm saying? We're not magic. We're human beings. And if you don't understand what they're doing to you, how can you fight against it? What's your solution? What's your solution there?
You see, going back to the Hollywood effect. God, the impression I get when I hear that is, especially in relation to our community, quote unquote, is the image was being portrayed in Hollywood, the popular films, the same films where you said that the man them are lining up to make whenever man get an opportunity to do an independent thing, is to put that impression onto man, like to anyone who's watching it, and then like duplicate that and become that what they're seeing on the screen, even if they ain't like that.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, before, when we were slaves, like, there's two things. Remember, media is a mass communication, yeah? So all media, like whether it's written, directed, film, audio, it's media, you know what I'm saying? So they control all of that, you know what I'm saying? And what they're using in order, like in terms of what I call the Hollywood effect, and I call it, when you see people pretending, I call it Hollywooding, when they try to act like they're more than they are, you know what I'm saying? Or they try to say that they're down and just Hollywooding, because like, that's not your true character. A lot of the youths them on road, they're Hollywooding. They're not. That's not the true character. We know this because I've grown. I've been a youth worker and I've grown with, watched them drop that character and become their true self. The one the mum knew from a longer time. You know what I'm saying? There's only a few people know how to hold on to themselves. Some people are using this Hollywood character for self-defense. A lot of these grime artists, they're not really like that. They've developed that as a means of survival. But the hostile environment is created by their. You know what I'm saying? The people that colonized them, or the people that brought them here to work for cheap. Because that's the only reason why. It's the only reason why the Europeans want us in their country. They don't want us because they want to share the country with us. They want us because we are cheap workers and they are a slave-like regime. The genesis of white people, as far back as is about enslaving their own people. They seem to be, according to their own history, a very slave-like race, a people who answer to the master and the slave. You know what I mean? Throughout their race. You know what I'm saying? That they seem to, but when you go back to Egypt, you know what I mean? That's not, they make believe the later Egyptians who are white had that regime. But if you go before that, you know what I'm saying? the Hatshepsut era and way back, you know what I'm saying? Then you won't have that regime. But that's another story for another time. So the TV, films, the internet now is another media. They control. Remember, I remember about 15 years ago, I used to say to people, you better sort this internet thing out now, you know, because they're gonna see it. Once these people see it, they're gonna move to it, and they're gonna no. So this free area that was once free is now owned people, and it was free. This is what they do. They'll go out into space, and then they'll start to own it, and say you can't go here and you can't go because we now own it. That's what they do. They're a colonizing race. Yeah. Anywhere they go, they will colonize. So once you let them into your yard, you know what I'm saying? You're going to start seeing them do, and many people, they'll start doing things that they think is right by them. You know what I'm saying? Without your permission. They touch this, they move that. Oh, that doesn't look good there. Whoa, we're moving thing there for. No. Because they believe they know best. They've been the DNA says so to them. Yeah. So Hollywood was established about the 1800s. Yeah, 1853 or something like that in LA. Now, when this was happening, we were still kind of under it. We were still being hung. They were still raping us. You know, we still couldn't go to their schools. They couldn't go to their colleges. So we had nothing to do with Hollywood. Yeah, when it started. You get what I'm saying? Most of the acting started with acting is a thing that I'm not aware of in the Black historical timeline. I'm not really aware of that. You know what I'm saying? It's not been made. I'm not been made privy to the acting within the Black historical timeline. But in the white,
not even in telling stories.
But that's not acting.
Actual stories.
Yeah, but that's not acting. I'm talking about acting. That's character. It's a different thing when you take a character on and you start to move in the character. In story, if about passing on stories, somebody would say like, "Oh, Anansi's story." You know, you'd have to use your imagination. That's what made your brain so powerful. That's why we was nearing, or some of us had reached a level of telepathy, because you used your brain and the other aspects of your brain far more. With the onset of the white being coming to the planet, he shut down. You know what I mean? He murdered off the Aborigines who were known to have telepathy, and you know that's gone completely. And now the only telepathy you have is called a mobile phone. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, that's as telepathy as you're gonna get. So again, yeah, the story is not the same as acting. Have you heard the term thespian? Yeah, when they said, "Oh, he's a real thespian," this is like a sort of middle class term more than an average term. But thespian is about the guy who started it first, called Thespis. You know what I'm saying? He was the one who first started to do like poetry and start to make all these funny moves like da 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 da. So when they talk about he's a real thespian, mean that like somebody in the theater and all that, they're talking about this guy Thespis who's Greek. You know what I'm saying? So he started in the 6th century BC. He started to recite poetry and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, as time has gone on, I still don't admit, like, because I remember, you like if you look at a lot of what we did, like in our dances and when, you know what I mean, we did all this sort of stuff to try and, because they were aware of this type of acting, so we could have got away with acting like we was praying to their gods, you know what I mean? So we learned how to act. So because they you know what I'm saying, pretending we were praying to their god when we was pretending, praying to our own ones. You get what I'm saying? And then we start to develop these characters. You know what I mean? Like, well, massa, and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do know, massa. No, massa. You know, and all that kind of stuff to try and to hide the fact that we either plotting or whatever. So the deception or the acting that they brought to the planet is in terms of Hollywood is what we're dealing with now, with the youth STEM everywhere across the planet. You know what I'm saying? Now, and a character is when you adopt a role. You know what I'm saying? It's not your true self. It's a persona. Like one of the biggest effects on, what do you think one of the biggest effects, if I can ask you that question, what do you think one of the biggest effects on hip hop in terms of gangster rap was? You know what I'm saying? Just by your own opinion, not by any documented stuff.
The biggest effects on hip hop.
Yeah, in terms of Hollywood. Yeah, in terms of gangster rap. One of the biggest. What would you think? In terms of a movie, then?
When gangster rap first come through my limited research, it's like it before man used to lick out against not for the gangsterism. Like when I say gangsterism, I mean like glorifying smoking, shotting. But there used to be a big conscious scene that used to lick out against all of that.
Yeah, that was hip hop.
Yeah. Are you saying in terms of Hollywood?
Yeah. What effect did it have on hip hop? Because a lot of what you see, this is what they do. Like the hip hop, the people behind the scenes, they're usually white, and they whisper into black people's ear when they give them money and tell them how to behave and what to do. So a lot of this, like, oh, you know, we don't, you know, this idea that they said, one of the things that a lot of hip hop said when they start to go really sorts north with their fuckery was, oh, we're not meant to grow up your children. Yeah. Now that's not the voice of a human being. That's the voice of an alien to this planet, because all human beings look after each other. All native and inhabitants of this planet, all original people live by a social system. So when you hear a black man saying, we're not supposed to look after your children, yeah, as a part of him able to get away and chat shit, that's the mindset of a white man. So that's what they do. I call them the whisperers as well. They whisper in your ear like, yeah, why should you bother with that? Why should you worry about that? And then you go, yeah, true. You know what I mean? Because remember, most of these guys, they're not that educated themselves, and they haven't developed a strength of mind. They're coming from a ghetto looking for a bite to eat. But seeing as you didn't answer the question, one of the greatest things that helped the rap was a white actor, Al Pacino. In what film? Say
again.
One of the greatest effects on rap music, you know, not hip hop, but rap music, was an actor called Al Pacino. In what film?
Scarface.
Yeah, a white man, not a black man. It wasn't Shaft that had a big effect. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Superfly. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't it wasn't Training Day. You know what I'm saying? It was a white man who wasn't even a bad man. He was an actor. He played comedies and he played all kinds of roles. It was fake. It was a pretend rare. You understand what I'm saying? And from that, people black men put his picture up many times. I saw on TV, you know, you go into cribs and you see all these different men with the picture.
All of them used to have the DVD still, the Scarface DVD. They used to order up.
Yeah. An actor, an act, a character. This is what black people copied. That's the Hollywood effect. You know what I'm saying? You put the one in the early days in the 70s, there was a movie called Harry in Your Pocket. Yeah. Which after that was shown locally, yeah, it started the pickpocketing craze in London. Yeah, I don't know. I think it probably went to Birmingham or whatever. So you see the whole pickpocketing era that some people are aware of, which isn't truly documented, again, because we don't control our history and our historical timeline. Yeah, pickpocket was rampant after that. Yeah, through a movie called Harry in Your Pocket, a film about pickpocketing that was glorifying pickpocket. A white man film again, yeah, and that's what started pickpocket in London, yeah, guarantee you that. You get what I'm saying? So again, you know what I'm saying, that Hollywood effect. You know what I'm saying? In the early, people talk about drive-bys, yeah. Now in the early in the 1920s, when we still couldn't go nowhere, we had to go to the back door of their hotels. You know what I'm saying? In the early 1900s, yeah, we had to go to the back door of the hotels, yeah. They were already jumping on cars, yeah, with what they call Tommy guns, which are submachine guns, yeah. Basically, what you'd call a semi-automatic now, which they're talking about now. You know, if you put it forward to that day, right, a machine gun, right, like a Uzi, basically, a long-barreled Uzi. Put it that way, yeah. In movies like Al Capone in 1932, Scarface, the original Scarface, yeah, not this Scarface with Al Pacino, yeah. Al Capone, Little Caesar, Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? Bonnie and Clyde. This is where we learned how to do drive-bys, bro. You know, as I said, because we don't control anything, you cannot make that documentary, because the white man won't let you make a documentary about something that you can document. You know what I'm saying? And say, well, look, this is when we came to this country as slaves. We didn't have Tommy guns. We didn't have these. We didn't have the ability to make films like this. You know, cars driving through Hollywood, shooting up the place, and drive-bys. You understand?
Hey, one man.
So the drive-bys.
I said to cut in next. Man trying to keep the audience interacting as well. One man said in the comments, Mr. Pro, why is this guy presenting black people as some programmable androids / puppets?
Because that's what they are. That's what they see. You can't you can't say war in it. when I'm presenting it? You get what I'm saying? That's a silly question, isn't it? If I'm showing you this stuff, then what do you mean? Why am I presenting them as that? If I'm presenting them as that, and I'm showing you how I'm presenting them as that, I don't understand. These are silly questions because black people are so full of their own pride that the ability to analyze and rationalize is lacking. You know what I mean? All you need to do is analyze and rationalize. You don't need to take it personal. But if you're still stuck in an impulsive and emotional state, you can't help me and I can't help you. You need to stay in that state with the people like you so you can go at each other's throat. What I'm trying to do is show a timeline here and show stuff that exists. If you can show stuff that other exists, then you do that, isn't it? You don't need to ask me why am I doing what I'm doing, because that's what I'm doing. What I'm doing.
We say facts over everything. Facts over everything.
Yeah, facts over everything. I'm just saying I'm presenting something. If you got something else you can present that. But don't be asking me why I'm doing it, because I'm doing it. It's like a stupid question. I'm doing it because that's why I'm doing it, to show you how we are affected by Hollywood as a group of people. You can't say, why am I presenting? I've just given you all the facts. I've just given you what has happened and what is happening. If you can say none of that happened, then I'm chatting shit. If you say nothing like that went down and there's nothing close to that ever happened in history, you're an idiot, then yeah, I'm chatting shit and you should have me on your show. But I can reference this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the drive-bys were happening long before black people got to do drive-bys. They filmed them in these various movies that you'd find, yeah? That's when it was black and white in 1932. And then you got free, and then who names themselves after white Italian mafia? 3-6 Mafia, Capone, Al Capone. You know, how many people do you know that was rapping?
Enough of them and them, fam. Bugsy Malone.
Yeah, Little C's. There's a movie called Little C's.
Lucky Luciani.
Yeah,
Lucky Luciano, bag of them, man.
Bro, this is what I'm trying to say. This is not trying to show you. I'm trying to show you. They're affected. Name all the white men that as DJs and rappers that name themselves after their own white man. Them. I'm sorry.
Them gangsters there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you can, that's what I'm just saying. If you can,
but it's not for me. It's not a fair question still. Cause I don't really. Most of the music, when it comes to music, most of the music I listened to growing was all black people still. So I wouldn't even really know.
Bro, you were part of this world. Yeah, but what I'm saying, you're a part of this world. If it was out there, you'd know. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them. We're in that type of part of the world where if it was out there, you'd know. You'd know about the DJ called. The only DJ we know about is called Eminem. You'd know about a DJ that's called Al Capone. You'd know about the white DJ that used to be called Legs Diamond. You'd know about him. you wouldn't. You know what I mean? Because it's all a part of the historical, the musical timeline. You just like how you hear about you never really listen to Chuck. What's his name? Chuck. What's his name? Chuck. I forgot his second name now, but like a rock and roll guy, Chuck something. I forgot his name. You know what I mean? But I never knew. I didn't listen to that, but I've heard of his name, Chuck. Whatever his second name is.
I think I know you're talking about. I can't remember it still.
Yeah, my ding-a-lingy, son. My ding-a-ling, re. You know what I'm saying? So you get to know this stuff. It doesn't require you to be knee deep or head deep to know that. Yeah. So you got all these little DJs. Remember, do you remember, I don't know if you're old enough, but you know what I mean, your mum remember all the when the cowboy movies start to hit Jamaica, who named themselves after Lone Ranger? Who named themselves after Johnny Ringo? Some next cartoon, some next TV. Who named the white men that named themselves after that after I've done? You know what I'm saying? Who named themselves after Clint Eastwood as an artist? A white
What about Jim Brown? Where Jim Brown come from? Ain't that one of them as well?
No, Jim Brown is actually
the black brother.
The footballer from America. Yeah. So he was a bit of an action figure back in this. So that's a good name. But he was a gangster though. That Jim Brown of Jamaica was a gangster. I'm talking about musicians here. All the names I've mentioned are musicians. Bounty Killer. That's from a car. That's not who. Where would you get the term Bounty Killer from, bro?
Where'd that come from? He didn't make it up himself.
No, Bounty Killer is what you do. The guys them used to chase them in the westerns and get the bounties for them. Like they put a wanted poster out and charge them money. So you call them bounty hunters. Yeah. He just call himself Bounty Killer. So you know what I mean?
I thought you meant bounty killers and bounty like the coconut, like black on it.
No. Bounty also means like a price on your head, a bounty on your head.
Yeah, I know that still. But all this time, that's what I thought this reason why he was using it still. I didn't know that.
Oh,
Still.
okay. I'm not saying what reason why he's using it. I'm just trying to make a comparison. Josie Wells. That's another movie with Clint Eastwood. Big DJ'd up. You know what I'm saying? If you're a veteran of reggae music or reggae rap or reggae DJ, whatever you want to call it, Josie Wells big. You know what I'm saying? Tonto Irie. That's Lone Ranger's. Tonto was his partner. Then you have Lone Ranger. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. That's an effect. That means Hollywood has an effect on the black psyche, doesn't it? It doesn't seem to have. I'm just saying, like, maybe there's other arguments, but it doesn't seem to affect these other people like that. We seem to want to go for these types of figures. Like you got Tech Nine, you got Capone and Noriega in the rap music. They want to be like, they want to name themselves after gangsters and white Italian. They're not. None of these people are black. You get what I'm saying? Little C's, Mac 10.
Worse than that. Anytime you hear them reference black people in the films. The way they reference, man, I said worse than that. Not only ain't they black, the way they reference black people, like in Godfather.
Yeah, especially at those niggers, especially at those times when black people didn't have no real right. Because remember, we didn't officially get allowed to mingle with white people until the 1960s. You know what I'm saying? It's just the other day. This is not ages and ages are back and ages are back. This is just the other day on the historical timeline. You get what I'm saying? So you have Willie D, all these people, all these names that come from gangsterism or cowboyism, which has started in movies, and it's relevant to the movie and to the person. You get what I'm saying? Scarface, for instance, one of my favorite gangster DJs. There ain't no black man called Scarface. Scarface is Al Capone's next name. So the only reason why there was an original Scarface in 1932 that was big for them in them time is because that was Al Capone had a scar on his face. So Al Capone was meant to be one of the baddest gangsters of the time. So people named themselves Scarface. So the film Scarface wasn't about Al Capone, but it had the key title Scarface. So you knew it was about a gangster. You see what I'm saying?
So why so many of them gravitate towards that type of thing and copy that for?
Because they have no sense of themselves. You know what I'm saying? In the 20s and the 40s, yeah. They were black cinema because black people couldn't go to cinemas back them time there, yeah. There was a lot of black cinemas. So people was getting stronger. This is what the same thing with like Black Wall Street. Every time the black man finds something to make him more powerful and make him like himself more, they come in and they buy you out. And they you know what I'm saying? They buy out your actors. Because remember they've got all that money from slavery. They're generations ahead in terms of money all the time. No matter how many billionaires that are black, like Oprah Winfrey, she's not in this thing. There are generations of people with money that make her money still look small. It looks big to me and you, but to who she's amongst, her money's small. Because these people have been making this type of money for generations and had slaves for generations. You understand? She's a billionaire just of this era. You know what I'm saying? And you probably add a couple millionaires, what's her name? C something James. There's a couple probably people that made a few, but not at the level of control, just having money, but not having no control to do anything significant with it, just to say, oh, Miss G over there, she's got money, or Miss Someone have money.
Sweet saying X. Most of these problems here, what we find ourselves with in this day and age, is symptoms of
white
post-slavery.
White oppression, yeah, post-slavery oppression, yeah, of course. Because don't you notice that nobody talks about slavery when they're referring to nothing? Because it's like they want to rob themselves of their own history, so they make themselves stupid. If you don't mention slavery when you mention anything, you're not even talking, bro. If you're only spitting out facts and not and statistics, yeah, you're not mentioning nothing if you don't mention slavery, bro. In every bomber clock conversation, yeah, you have to mention that because that's where you come from, bro. You understand? That's where you come from. You know what I'm saying? You're only here because of that.
So I don't know about anything else. So about when man tell you, when I forget, that was ages ago, when I forget over that, man's a victim. What happened to them arguments there?
Yeah, we're still a victim though. That's what I'm saying. Man's always a victim. If you can say, why would anybody want to their history, bro? Tell me. Because you're coward. You're either coward or ashamed that you haven't done anything and you haven't gone anywhere. So therefore you want to pretend that it didn't exist. Like when a man drape you up in front of your brethren, you know what I'm saying? Like have you up, and then like later on, then you start to come a bit of a star and then a man whispers, "I remember when my man draped you up." Who are you talking about? know what I'm saying? You don't want to remember something that make you feel like you're not the thing that you think you are. Remember that. Yeah, you drape me up, but you can't drape me up. No, though. How about that? Yeah, you can drape me up then. You can try drape me up. No, what about that? You understand what I'm saying? This is what they don't want to do. They want to erase and talk about victim and a long time ago. So where's the Jews? Where's the Jews? The Jews they're crafting a history that ain't even theirs. The Europeans, they talk about every year they celebrate World War I and World War II, and the deaf and the veterans, and what else them can celebrate? Them not stop celebrate. But you must forget your thing because it don't look good. Say, you know what I mean? What? Because they used to have you up. You know what I'm saying? Because they used to have you. You have to mention slavery anytime you mention oppression, because the only reason why black people are in the West is because of what? What? Because of tourism? What? Because of love? What? Because why are we here? So I need to make you mention, like my dad's dad, he was a slave. So that's not even that long ago, bro. It's not like my dad's dad. It's not that far, bro. It's the other day. And these niggas are scared, but they want to stab you in your face because they saw it on the, all these like, even this shot you in, you know, you see since American Gangster and my man shoot my man in the face. Do you know how much time I hear people shooting people in their face since then? All over the little places them now, because they advertise that this is possible and this is glamorous. Shot him in his face. So you hear them on the DJ, shot him in, because that's what they do. They copy everything that they see. I don't know what I'm trying to work out, which I don't know. Remember, this is the Hollywood effect. So I'm not trying to give you a reason why it is. I'm showing you that it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving you the reason why it is because I don't know. I'm just telling you there is a Hollywood effect on black people because they don't control anything. You know what I'm saying? They don't control none of the medias. And we just talk about how every single black guy that you knew that we were aware of were making the same type of movies. What kind of thing is that then? I don't understand. If you can't remember, that phenomenon has never been investigated. There's never been a documentary about that. There's never, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't make documentaries for black people about black people unless a white man or white people have an interest in it. All the guys that you see on these documentaries saying black this, and it's white people funding them, it's white film crews, it's white film production. So if you're not doing it the way they like, they're going to add, oh no, maybe you shouldn't do it that way. Maybe you shouldn't say this. You can't say what you want to say because you're being produced by somebody who has a totally different view to you, but he doesn't mind you saying this. You know what I'm saying? You know, remember we had in the 70s, we had the movies called like Shaft. Then Monday, you know, Superfly and Saturday, you know, that movies that made us laugh, or movies that, you know, was all black people, all black cast. Yeah? What happened to them movies? They just faded out. And what they call them now? Blaxploitation movies. Hold on a minute. So they weren't movies then. So now all our movies have got a negative connotation on them. Blaxploitation. So we have been exploited because we was acting in movies about gangs and so hold on. Hey, that's what we're acting in now. So now it's not blaxploitation, but when these people were funded by black men and independent black, some of them, not all of them, were funded by independent black producers and in black money, that was blaxploitation. Now white people are doing it in the 20th and 21st century. It's no, sorry, in the 21st century. It's no longer black. It's just a film. Why is it that everything we do seems to carry under the guise of the European mindset? Because remember, it's the Europeans that run America. It's Europeans that run and from the British line, and it's Europeans that run Australia from the British line. It's Europeans that run Jamaica. You know what I mean? From the British line. You know what I'm saying? And there's other lines that Europeans run from French, German, Belgian. You know what I'm saying? But they're all Europeans. And everywhere that Europeans run, black people live in shit. And only the few that operate like a white person or a European seem to be able to have a decent standard of living. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise they just leave us like we're some slaves talking about girls' fannies and jumping up and down. You know what I'm saying? So like the Mac, all these movies and Foxy Brown, the first woman action hero was who? Foxy Brown.
Yeah. Oh no.
There was no woman hero before. Where? Somebody need to mention me. It wasn't Elizabeth Taylor. You know what I'm saying?
Are we talking about movies in general?
Yeah. Okay. I'm saying the first. Remember, I keep saying black women was never behind. You know what I'm saying? We had to follow the European mindset to push the black woman behind. The black woman is forward in human history. You know what I'm saying? Black women isn't behind. Black women ain't have to hide in under no gowns or nothing. And you know, they never had to do that because they were never behind anything. They were never blamed for anything. This culture that came and blamed the Eve and the apple, we don't know that culture. Human beings don't come from a culture like that suppresses women. But because we've been brainwashed through slavery now, we're talking about feminism and what are you talking about? How long has black men? We're talking about masculine men, and how long has men been throwing their arm around brethren? You know what I mean? Without being what they say in America, no homo. How long? How long have men been plaiting their hair, girl? How long? But they haven't turned into a homosexual. How long? We've always had a balance between men and women, our male and our female. What are you talking about? What are they fucking talking about, bro? What's this thing that they're trying to throw on us like we're learning from them? They got their thing twisted as fuck, bro.
We're talking about equal rights.
We've been for a longer time. Yeah, under their thing, because they're foreigners, bro. They're aliens to this planet, bro. They're copying and they're reversing shit and regurgitating the things we were doing way back. There's no Queen Hatshepsut, you know what I mean? All the warrior queens what are you talking about? But we don't look how many of us grew up with them type of mums in slave times and round ends. You can't fuck with that woman. Are you crazy? Miss Ma, you can't trouble she. She'll lick in your face. We've always had them women. We never had them. They might have existed through the European mindset, but in our communities, the women's lick over man from a longer time, not just now, not through no rare, no change of what, and then giving women more rights. I've seen one boss man from when I was a youth. I've seen women boss man. Where's this thing come from? Is because you've taken up a European identity and a European way of life, and you believe their way of life to be teaching you something. And all they've done is rob you of your original self and planted this alien self on you. And now you think this alien self is your true self. Are you dumb? How dumb is that? You know what I'm saying? That's dumb because we were here first. Everything that they would have to do has to come from us. You know what I'm saying? They're all them. Go on.
So now man's looking to open it up soon, innit?
Yeah, give me 5 more minutes and then we do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See that.
Also in the Hollywood situation, yeah. You have the because remember these people suffer heavily from negrophobia. They know what I mean, and that's a word you don't see nobody want to use. Not even black people. Negrophobia. They're quick to jump on homophobia. But negrophobia, when they're murdering black guys by nothing, when the justice system's full of shit, while they, destabilizing black families and black homes full of shit, and you're allowing it, you know what I'm saying, and championing the single parent family, you know what I'm saying. And what is noticeable as well is that, given that black people in America is about 13 to 40% of the population, a lot of now that they're giving black people roles, a lot of the roles that they're giving black people in the series seem to be homosexual. Seem to always have to have a homosexual twist to it. You know what I'm saying? You have how can I Viola Davis, an Oscar winner, how to commit murder. In one series she's a heterosexual, in the next series she's a homosexual. She's a lesbian. A black woman. I'm saying I've never seen. I watch a lot of movies. I've never seen that ever happen. I've never seen anybody change their sex in 2 separate series, and it would have to be a black woman. Most of the anytime there's a black policeman in a movie, it's going to be the black one.
How to get away with murder?
Yeah, how to get away. Yeah. One series she was a heterosexual with a white man. Next series she's a lesbian. Same, and it's the same series, right? A lot of policemen that you find who are homosexual, it's always in a movie. It's a black man that's homosexual. A lot of the lead movies that you're seeing coming out on all the different stations, from Amazon to all the different stations, a lot of the black guys or the black women are either lesbian. What is it? Where did we get this big surge of wanting to be homosexuals from? I'm not saying there shouldn't be no black homosexuals. I'm saying, how comes black people are getting all these roles as homosexuals in all these series? Everywhere there's a black lead, there's got to be a black homosexual. Since when did that start? Oh, is that the view of black people, or is that the view of the people who control the industry? Because you're trying to on your own. We're not whether you like homosexuals or not, whether you got homosexual friends or not. I know homosexuals. That doesn't change nothing. We're not noted to be people who celebrate homosexuality. We're not noted as a race for that. Yeah, whether you like it or not. Yeah, but remember, they're always trying to silence their voice. They are noted for that. Rome, they've got, you go to the museums, you'll see them, you got them with pictures of grown men chasing young boys with their dicks out. You know what I'm saying? They've got a thing called pederasty where grown could marry young boys and grind. Loads of pictures in their museums about with men putting their penis in young boys. You understand what I'm saying? This is their history. This is a European history. It's got nothing to do. Where's the history of the blacks doing that? I don't understand. Where's the history of the blacks doing that? You know, you're becoming like them. One, we know that the plastic in certain materials is genderized and is changing gender. You know what I'm saying? These are all things that are already out there. You know, this was happening all 15 years ago. They were telling us stop putting this in the plastics because it's BPA's and all that. They've shown and proven that it's gender. It will change gender. You understand what I'm saying? They poison people. This race does. This alien race. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So you can be scared if you cannot want to say what you need to say because you're frightened. I'm just saying this is my hypothesis. I'm saying if these are all out there, I'm not making this up. If this is all out there, then when did you get the message? Because I did. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, then they sell you this fantasy, not based on reality. All films, you know what I mean? But they're meant to be like a analogy, you know, like Avatar or Matrix. You know that Matrix was written by a black woman. So therefore, because it was written by a black woman, you can see what she was trying to say. And she has documented the AI coming into place through Terminator. Because Terminator is connected to other same black woman. You know what I mean? Did they come out later on and tell you that the black woman won, you know, how much, I don't know if it's $1 billion or so, you know what I'm saying, for them stealing the whole idea of the Matrix and the Terminator from her? No.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, because, yeah, exactly. But her name is Marsha Stewart. Just look it up. So because...
You say she won money for them, yeah?
Sorry?
She won money off of them, yeah?
Yeah, of course, you got money off of those people. Billions, not a couple of grand. You know what I'm saying? But you just type in Marsha Stewart and it will tell you about her. She's meant to be working on her own stuff right now. But yeah, but what I'm saying, but like how you never know, those things are not advertised. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to give the glory to that black, and it's a black woman, not a black man, a black woman. They don't want to give the glory to these people, you know what I mean? Because we're living in this society, which is, I told you, I believe that they are inherently racist. It's not a thing that they can help. Because their very survival depends on them, and the nature of them depends on them suppressing a race and even destroying that race. So they can fight, you know, they live disgusting. The way they live amongst each other is disgusting. You know, oh yeah, I'm trying to show you how we are ending up looking like them and behaving like them. I'm trying to show you that. I'm trying to show it's a programming. That's not how we live. You know, all of us can be in a room, not knowing anybody from anybody. You know this as coming up. Oh, we just share everything. We just naturally like that. Until something comes in the room or comes into play and fucks the whole thing up. We're naturally, you know, the reason why they could come to America and murder the native Indians, because they were human. And humans don't necessarily move straight towards aggressive. Everywhere they've been, it's the same. The Congo, Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, they wiped out the entire continent or what you can call them continents, little islands, but you know, of West India. They just murdered them off. How do you think you could just murder other people if these people are aggressive and violent and savage? They murdered off nearly the whole entire population of Australia, just murdered them. How can you murder people who are vicious and, you know what I'm saying, to this day, very peaceful people to this day? That's a human in there. These people don't act human, they act inhumane. So, I'm just saying. If you're saying that I've got it wrong, then I'm saying, then why did they murder all these people off? Why did they torture them and rape them, their kids? Why did they kill the grannies? Why did they burn them to death in tents? Why did they give them syphilis and diseases and viruses? Why everywhere the white man goes where the black man's already been, he brings a disease with him? I don't know. You tell me. Because they're good people? Is that because they're not malevolent and they're great and they're fantastic and they wish all black people a great success? For black people to develop and share the earth with them? You reckon that's why they do that? Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? They had another movie.
Man in the comments are disputing the Matrix creation by the black woman still.
The what?
I said, man in the comments is disputing that the Matrix was created by a black woman and saying that she didn't get no millions and billions.
But they can if they want. All they need to, it's good. It's on Google. I gave you the name. It's simple. It doesn't require a whole heap of work. It just requires typing in. That's the name. That's the age we're living in. Marsha Stewart, brother. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah. So the birth of a nation, right? Where we come to the blackface now, because I need to say this stuff. When we come to the blackface, the reason why the blackface is, remember, they program you. So what they did when they make the first one of their movie, like Birth of a Nation, which is like a racist movie. You know, early Hollywood as well, silent movie. That time they didn't even have sound, so it's way back then. In 1915, yeah, early Hollywood. I'm telling them one, them still a hung black man and I murder them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they made the black man look like a savage by painting white man painting their faces black, and and seem lecherous over women and all that. You know, that's why blackface is a thing. Yeah, there's another movie that they call Imagi or Ingagi. You know what I'm saying? From the 1930s, where they put white women in blackface and made them have sex, like almost like sex with gorillas. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They didn't show the literal sex, but they were like gorillas, sex slave. Yeah, blackface, women in blackface. You understand? So the idea that you're not connected to the understanding of what blackface means, and that it's a racist mindset. You know what I'm saying? And you're willing to buy into it because you've now bought into the mentality of being a European. That's cool. So you always know a European-minded person because they don't mind anything that white people do if they can call it business or if they can justify it on some European term. But in terms of respect for the black people, them that live amongst them, and so you see what they're doing in England right now. All the black people that came to this country to help this country, to bring up this country, they ain't sending all the new ones, the ones who just came the other day, the ones with the young children that they're going to use for cheap labor. All the old ones that are rinsed, they want to send back. We don't know. Yeah, the new ones can stay because we can enslave their children and make them work in order and stack the shelves in Sainsbury's and all this. We got a bag of them. Not all. Remember, we're not talking about all the black kids. We're talking about what they're using them for. Yeah, this has been on the TV as well in World in Action and all that, showing you how they line people, both black and white, how they line them up for cheap labor. The European Union and all that. Now they want to send black people. Oh, they're such a fantastic white people. Such fantastic. They're so brilliant when it comes to black people. They behave in such impeccable manner that it's almost like I want to say I'm white. You know what I'm saying? Again, if you don't understand that Hollywood has an effect right now, there's two types of fantasy you can have. You can have a utopian fantasy, and you can have a dystopian fantasy. Now, utopian fantasy is when the world is all balanced and perfect and everybody's living in harmony, yes? That's what a utopia. So you say, you're living in a utopia. That means a world where there's peace, love, harmony, no terrorism, blah, 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 blah. But what is the films that they're making most in Hollywood? They're making the dystopian films, yeah? The ones where black people and poor people live under tyranny, yeah? Most of their films is films that where rich people run. This is most of their futuristic films. Rich people run the world, and poor people are their basic slaves. You know what I'm saying? Where people have to fly off the planet to go and get healthcare. You know what I'm saying? And cheat and rob to just get basic things to eat. While the rich people having so much money can go and live in peace and tranquility, surrounded by security and police. You understand? So I don't understand if people can't see what they're producing in the movie to show you what type of world they want you to live in. Because remember, everything else has had an effect. So at what point you don't think dystopian movies are going to have an effect or kick in? It's going to be so normal because you're so used to seeing people living under pressure that when the pressure hits black people or poor people in London, New York, wherever, all over the world, you're going to think it's normal because they've already prepared you or programmed you for what they're going to do. Yeah, they've got a dystopian future ahead of all people. So only if you're rich, you know what I'm saying, or you're reptilian in bloodline, that you're gonna be able to run around. Yeah, you know what I mean. They talk about Illuminati and all that. I don't know about that, but they're all connected to maybe something that goes even deeper. Which, like I said, everything can't be done in one lecture. So when you look at Hunger Games and all these and Maze and all these movies that they're bringing out, it's all about a negative future. When you look at Avatar, when they went to this planet, right? People go to a planet of blue people. Let's say, and they do the same thing they do everywhere. They rip up their fucking them because they want something. They rip them up from the inside, tear down their culture, beat them up, and steal from them, and then say it's business. You understand? This is what I'm trying to show you, that you can see their behavior is racist. It's inherent. They believe they have the right to take anything from anyone as long as they have a demand for it. So you have a demand for anything tomorrow in, say, Jamaica, Australia, anywhere where black people are, Africa, you know what I'm saying? And like the Congo, like the diamonds, like the coltan for the mobile coltan for the mobile phones. Anywhere they know there's something, they'll move in there and they'll destroy the population and they'll get the oil. Everywhere white people have moved to extract something for their own safes, the people that they've extracted from live in shit. And what they do is that they create the same lord and master mentality that they create everywhere else, on the same reptilian master mentality, where only a few black people have millions and millions and millions of pounds to do what they want with, and the rest of the population lives in poverty. It's a perpetual way that white people live across the planet. Not in London, not in England, not in Paris, not in France, not in Belgium, across the entire planet. That's how they live. So you telling me they're not racist by their very nature, by their very DNA? You know what I'm saying? So again, I'll just chill it there, I suppose, because I suppose if people want to come in, and then again, remember New Jack City. You remember Boys in the Hood? Remember all of these movies, the same fucking movies. It's Menace to Society, Blood In, Blood Out. You know what I'm saying? Gangs of, I mean, all this gang movie, all that. Where was the other movies? There's plenty. While I'm saying all that, these are top-notch movies. There's plenty of other movies come. Brown Sugar, loads of other movies coming about us. But did they get headlines? Are they being sung and talked about? No. These are movies that affect the young, disenfranchised blacks. Because without a father figure, you're going to look to something to give you influence. This has been proven in sociology and psychiatry and not psychiatry, psychology and psychiatry, in fact, that you will, if you give a monkey a furry object and you take away its parent, it will cleave to that furry object. It's a mammal, closest relative to so-called human being. Yeah? So they know what they're doing. They understand the methodology they use, but by ill-educating the poor and not giving them enough. You know, there's no psychology in schools. There's no. They want to teach you about homosexuality and children. They want to teach children about homosexuality and transgenderism and all that. That's what they want to teach. Like, that's going to help them to get a job. Yeah, transgenderality. You know, that's going to help them to work out the fuck up shit that's going to happen to them if you know about transgenders. Not if you know more about maths. If you know more about politics. If you know about physiology or physiognomy. None of that's going to help you at free. What's going to help you at free is if you know what a homosexual is, and if you understand that a man can have a child can have two dads. That's what they want to teach. So you tell me how this society is so benevolent, so friendly, so loving. Yeah, teaching people to be robots and then creating robots to replace the people that they're teaching to be robots. That's what's up. You know what I mean, remember Menace to the Society. You know how much you wanted to be like that, because
I want to be old dog.
Huh?
So I wanted to be old dog.
Yeah, you remember them days? Like, that's all they cleave to, because the society, they can't fight the white man. They can only fight black people. So the more they show you how to turn in on yourself, is the more you glorify the ability to kill one another, because you're scared to death of white people. You understand? Black people are scared to death of white people because they are truly, truly wicked. And the fear that's been passed on through your DNA is what stops you from behaving a certain way. So the only people that behave a certain way against them are people who probably were killed, you know, early in their life. Because remember, what they used to do is that if they find you too rebellious, they didn't kill you, they kill all your family. So they try to wipe out the whole gene pool. So that's how they survive, and that's how. Remember, they're not willing to share the earth with the original people, the original population. So they're going to wipe them out. So this is why they couldn't afford for these people to still be alive. So some of the remnants of that gene are spotted all over the planet, I suppose, but they're not in the majority.
Okay. Like, I sent out the link to the first person who did ask for it still. So I'm just waiting for them to jump on. But question from Tanvir Chima says, ask Doctor what he thinks the future is for black people. It sounds negative from his talking points.
Yeah, it's annihilation. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, exactly. What do you think? You tell me what it you see apart from fantasy that any suggestive or any sequence of events that's happening that says to you that black people are going to do well in the future. Show me the sequence of events. Because all I'm doing is using the sequence of events that I'm privy to. Like whether you decide to ignore them or not, or you don't recognize them. That's why I said to you, I can't tell people what to watch or what books to read. Because stuff I read or where I see or get or put two and two together from, you probably won't see it. You know what I'm saying? It's just those are the things that come with DNA. I don't know, just like how somebody can sing well, play football, and that's another thing. You know, we'll probably talk about another time. Like all grown men's playing ball games. That's where that's where they're making sure that all the men them have money. They're people that play with balls. You know what I'm saying? They can play with balls, yeah? You can make money. You understand? Ball player. You know
the next question from Tony Sutton. He says, can you ask Dr. X, what does he think of these black girls who are hostile towards masculine men and very submissive towards gay men?
Yeah, but that's a European program, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Those girls have been programmed with a European mindset. You know what I'm saying? The misunderstanding, you know what I mean? Like, how many girls do you know that don't have straight hair now? You know what I'm saying? How many girls do you know? If you know two, you'll be lucky. You know what I'm saying? Most have adopted a European look. They don't feel pretty flashing back their hair. I remember when we used to take the piss out of white girls back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, the girls used to flash back. They used to put a wig on and flash back their hair as a joke. Now white girls, not black girls with their wigs and their weavings, they do it normal like it's their hair. They think, I don't know, they don't understand the programming. That's what I'm saying to you. If you start scratching your ass like a monkey, wouldn't somebody say, well, don't you get it from a monkey? You know what I'm saying? If you start to go, woof, 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 people say, you sound like a dog, bro. So if you just try to look like a white girl, then somebody can look at you and say, you look like a white girl. You know how many times white girls are stood on television, you're trying to look like me. You think they're not aware of it? We spend billions, probably of pounds. Women spend billions of pounds. So what makes you think they won't act like a white girl? They don't know their history, else they wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, they're doing what a white girl does. The white girl, she loves a gay guy. You know what I'm saying? So as a black girl, that's a copy, you know what I'm saying, of a white girl. You're going to like a white guy too, aren't you? You like a gay guy too, aren't you? Like he's your best friend, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And all that. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's not wrong with that. I'm just saying that you can't have it both ways, isn't it? You can't say I'm other than your skin color, your culture, not. You know what I mean? We're all of us that are post-slavery blacks, because anytime we don't have a good history over the last nearly 1,000 years. So when we can't talk about post-slavery. We can't talk about a black in post-Egypt. Yeah, we're so far from that. It's like a joke. So we're post-slavery. Yeah, most West Indians definitely. You understand? And some Africans. Yeah, not the immigrant African. They're post-colonization. You understand? So they talk a different. West Africans have to say post-colonization if they stayed in Africa. West Indians have to say post-slavery, because most of the wickedness that's happened to us, like the gun courts, the murder, the stuff that's happening in Jamaica and Trinidad, it's post-slavery stuff. It's stuff that's happened only because we were enslaved. It's not stuff that we wanted to happen because we are the people that you know what I mean. Where you go with?
Yeah, man. I got the first guest in the building still. Sophia.
Hello, everyone.
What's up?
Hi.
So I wanted to ask everyone that's here in the chat. I'm absolutely disgusted that all of these people that are here have not been reporting on the disgusting attack that has happened in Utrecht. It is being looked into as a terrorist attack, and people like Respect should be absolutely ashamed of himself for not reporting on this attack. He was on, his channel on Friday saying that me and several other people have blood on our hands and, all this other kind of stuff. I posed the question, why has he not done a stream reporting on the disgusting attack that has happened in Utrecht? You know, it's the hypocrisy is absolutely disgusting. And I would
Sophia.
like to answer.
Sophia.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. This show. Yeah. Like, obviously, you can ask a question still, but this show is called The Hollywood Effect, and it made more sense to ask questions relevant to what man's been talking about. You hear me? But I don't know X, guys, because it's Dr. X's show still. So if he wants to respond to that, then it's on you, X.
No, that's a whole nother subject. That takes us somewhere else. I'm talking about what's happening to black people and how it affects us in this time.
Yeah, can I ask? Okay, well, since we're talking about black people again, can I ask you,
Yeah.
you know, why you're so fixated on black people?
Because I am one.
Yes, because you are black, but I'm mixed race and I don't go on and on.
Yeah, but that's because you're mixed race.
Oh, but you know, it seems like when I first came on here, I typed in the chat and said, "Oh, are we complaining about skin color again?" Because it seems like that's what happens on here quite often.
My name's Dr. X. I've been doing this for a number of years. Yeah, nothing
Are you a doctor?
concrete for black people is happening. Sorry.
Are you a legitimate doctor?
No,
Or,
no, that's something a white person usually asks me. But I'm saying because the pronunciation and the way it's written is clear that I'm not a doctor. But what I'm saying is that if you're mixed race, and I've said this many times before, you have the blood of a white person in you, with all due respect, and it really depends on what is influencing your gene pool the most. That programs you to do whatever it is you want to do. You have some mixed race people that are pro-black. You have some mixed race people that are pro-white. It really depends on the dominance of their genes. Now, what's happening to black people across the world, across the entire planet, is a problem for me. And you're talking about it again, as that's what a white person would say, as if there's a time for it to run out. You know what I'm saying? There is no time for the post-slavery effect to run out. There is no time. It's unlimited until justice is happening for us truly across the board.
Hey, yo, sorry, X. Hey, yo, Annabelle, keep your mic on. No, sorry, Supreme, keep your mic on mute. So I was supposed to do one person at a time, but you, Sophia, was taking long to respond. I sent you the link, so yeah. Right now, you ain't really supposed to be here still, but stay here. But just keep your mic on mute for the moment, because we're gonna do one person at a time thing. But you're gone, X.
Yeah. So that's my answer to Sophie's question again, and it will go on forever. You know what I'm saying? Until, once that changes, then the narrative changes. If black people start getting equal footing on this planet, you know what I'm saying? Then
so do you truly believe that black people have it hard? Because I have a black father, and he copes absolutely fine, and he does not blame anyone else for anything he fails in.
Yeah.
I'm so sick and tired of hearing, black thugs complain about the system and this and that. Well, actually, if you was to grow up and stop your slave mindset mentality and do something, you might actually be able to get somewhere in life. Blaming everyone else for your problems is not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah, but the thing is, this life is controlled by white people, though, and white people are a wicked and cruel and savage race. You know what I'm saying? So why would I want to get on in a world where one man has £100 million while the nation of black people starve? Why would I want to get on in a world where they have destroyed and murdered and pillaged many black people across the globe, in order to be the people they are today? Why would I want to get on in that world? If I don't have this mindset, then I'll be like your dad. I don't want to be like your dad.
Great, but you could never be like my dad, because
I want to be like your dad, but
you could never.
You said be like your dad. You know what I'm saying? So as proud as you are of your dad, I'm not proud of him. It has nothing to do with me.
How could you not be proud of someone that you don't know, Doctor?
Exactly. I don't know him, so how can I be proud of him? I don't know him. That's exactly what you know what you just said. What I'm trying to explain to you is that it's important that people understand their measure within this life, what it is they're about. And you're about, I don't, you're mixed race, so you're more about integration and that. So you see the world from the part of having a white mother. You know what I'm saying? So you woke up in the morning and seen a white woman at your table. I've never woke up and seen that, apart from at school.
I also woke up and saw my black father.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, well, I didn't wake up and see any white person at any time. That's the difference. So you have a different upbringing and a different way to look at life. And depending on what mentality your father has, would then fuel how you look at the rest of the black people. If your father has a mentality, like Angela Davis' father had a mentality as a mixed race, she became a voice for black people. You know what I'm saying? And she decided that black people were under pressure and she was going to fight for black people. You know what I'm saying? There's many other mixed race people who have done that over the period of time. If you decide that that's not something you want to do, then that's fair. And if you're proud of your dad, which clearly you are, and what he does, that's fair. I don't need to be proud of him, though. That's what I'm saying to you. And you likewise don't need to be proud of me. But the bottom line is that you have your way of looking at this world, and by you saying that you're sick and tired of something, it means that you was never involved in it in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't be sick and tired of being sick and tired unless there's nothing to be sick and tired about. You know what I'm saying?
Of course there's something to be sick and tired about. We hear this all the time.
Like I said, you're sick and tired of it because you're not of it. That's what I'm saying to you. I'm aware that you're not of it. So obviously you're going to be sick and tired of it because you want to hear something else that suits your particular mindset. But this is not for you then, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't watch this. I don't want that. I don't watch it because it doesn't suit my mindset. So when you hear people talking about black liberation or black evolution or explaining to them how they're being fooled by a white system run by white people who I don't even think belong on this planet, you know what I'm saying? You won't get it.
Sorry, you don't believe white people belong on this planet?
I don't believe they originate on this planet. No, I don't. I believe they're alien to this planet. Yes, that's what I believe.
Okay.
Hypothesis.
Yeah. I would kind of expect that from you. But can I ask, are you usually on Raspect's channel?
Sorry?
I said, can I ask you, do you go on to the Rasta Horse's channel, Raspect?
No.
Okay, because he kind of, whenever I'm kind of on there and I'm listening in and stuff, I hear a lot about, bashing white people. And I just think, what is the need to constantly bash someone, I was seeing the chat earlier, someone actually said that you was talking about a devil DNA. I mean,
yeah, no, I
what?
didn't. I said, I don't know if
Devil DNA.
Alien DNA. I said the alien DNA. I said the Nation of Islam used to call them the white man the devil. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure about that. What I'm saying is the alien DNA. I'm saying the way white people have operated to human beings, black people are the original human being. That's been proven. So Adam and Eve is a lie. The white Adam and Eve is a lie. The white Jesus is a lie. So we're living in a form of deception. That's what the show, what today is called. This is not a free, I don't know if you've been on holiday, but this is not a free running show that just talks about anything and everything. I'm talking about a particular thing at a particular time. And that's what this show is. So I'm saying that the white people have destroyed the planet in such a bad way and have hurt so many human beings over the planet that there's no way I can look at them as a benevolent race. They're a malevolent race of beings. You know what I'm saying? All the Caucasians. So I'm saying that they haven't done
Caucasians.
All the Caucasians. All I mean, as a race, not as the individuals. Put it that way. The Caucasian race, should I say? Not all Caucasians, obviously.
And this is obviously because what they've done in the past. But why don't you? I mean, it's not good to stroke everyone with the same brush.
No, I'm not. I'm saying white people. It's a generalization. I retracted my all statement and said I meant white people. That's a general statement about them as a race.
Okay, well, it seems like you're quite stuck in your ways, and no one will be able to sway your opinion.
Well, you don't have enough. You can't sway my opinion with emotive statements. That's not how you sway somebody who's an intellect. I'm not. You can't just talk to me as if because I'm black and I talk about black stuff I don't know anything. You can't use a particular tone of voice to sound very sort of Englishy and very. That's like. Well,
actually, just because I don't speak like I'm from the ghetto doesn't mean that I'm speaking in any particular way. This is just the way I speak.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is your own stereotype. I didn't mention ghetto. I said a particular way. My daughter speaks like you, and they say, "Oh, you speak posh." I'm saying, by speaking like that, people who are unaware might think that means you're very educated, but you haven't come up with anything intellectual. That you're just emotional. So it doesn't. seem that intellectual to me. That's what I was going to say. I don't care about your voice.
Yeah, the thing is that it's because I hear this so much about, you know, like when I saw the main reason why I came on was to kind of just ask people why there wasn't an uproar about the disgusting attack.
It's the wrong program for that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, clearly today's talking about you know, black people again, and you know that's amazing.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. Because you're using all the typical things that white people use. Because of
how am I using the typical things that white people are using?
It's their attitude. You sound like somebody that's more DNA white than you are black. Well, that's my opinion. Because I've been talking like this for over 20 years, so I know the different tones and the different styles.
But this is my first time talking to you. I've
made an assumption. I've come to a conclusion about how you sound, like how you just said to me that, you know, I'm talking about it again and again. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're doing. We're both doing the same thing. So how I'm doing it to you is that you sound like somebody white. You don't sound like somebody that understands the black situation and has come with an argument to say, okay, although you say this, blah, 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 this, that, you're coming with, oh, I'm sick and tired, and you're fed up, and, you know, like emotional stuff. That's not an intellectual
I will
argument.
never understand what, you know, someone like you that's black has gone through and what you think. So I can't talk on that. But what I just wanted to ask you,
in the story then.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you though why it was.
Yeah.
Why it was that every time I come onto this show in particular and Raspberry Chat, which is the reason why I asked you why you go onto Raspberry channel, it really does seem like you guys have a deep hatred for white people.
The gynecologist that does babies, he doesn't have a hatred for babies, does he? He brings forth babies. You know what I'm saying? A psychologist don't have a hatred for people who are twisted in their mind. He just finds out why they're twisted in their mind. All I'm doing is talking about why a lot of us as black people are twisted and who's doing it to us and why they do, and how benevolent, how malevolent white people really are to us as a race, and how they've been across the entire globe, across the entire planet. Sorry, not the globe. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, and that's what I'll always talk about. So if you want to go on know about history, you go on a quiz show. If you want to know about, what's happening today, maybe you go on a documentary. If you want to watch a movie about science fiction, you go and watch a sci-fi movie. You can't then go to a process that's involved in its own process. This is not what white people do, and decide that you don't like the process, so it must change. Typically white. That's what I'm saying. That's like the superior mentality that they think they have, that whatever they say is the right way to be. So no, let's not talk.
I don't have a superior mentality. You know, I was simply just asking you a question.
You wasn't simply. You was not simply. If you were simply, you'd have answered your question and left.
I was simply asking you a question. It's just like, look, you seem very emotional. Just, just
see, again, it's not a case of me seeing emotion. This is all the tactics that you've used have been used before. You seem emotional, just relax. You're the one who hasn't brought up anything intellectual, just emotive statements. And because I don't know what your father's like, but you don't obviously understand black men that well. We speak with a certain type of passion. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we're talking about, we don't sit there and go, well, I don't like your question. And Sophia, I think that I don't talk like that. There's another type of person that can do that. That's not me. So by you stereotyping me to saying that because I'm not sounding the way you want me to sound, somehow I need to relax. It's condescending. That's what you lot do all the time. That's why you remind me of a white person, because only white people do that.
So only white people are condescending?
Only white people condescend to me. I'm not talking about all white people and all conversations. I'm talking about in my conversations. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm used to your type of banter, for want of a word. That never changes. Well, I never change.
What are you talking about, banter? I haven't tried to be funny at all.
That's not what, when we say banter, where we come from, it doesn't mean being funny. It just means exchanging of words. That's what it means. It can be funny, it can be serious. It's still banter. Yeah, that's where we come from. That's what it means. So as I said, you're obviously out of place on this show, isn't it? This show's not for what you want it to be. So
yeah, definitely,
you know
definitely. Because
we can land that show up. Respect.
No malice intended. Just I'm saying.
Is what it is.
You can go on for long saying that, but it won't change nothing.
Your ex, Cause we got a few other people that want to come on as well. Still, there's a few people on the panel.
Just keep it moving, bro.
So Sophia, yeah, respect for coming on.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're gonna line up a show.
Doctor. Yeah, I just want to say sorry to the doctor because obviously I've obviously asked the wrong questions, and you know this is not the panel to talk about a disgusting attack that took place in Utrecht. So yeah, I'll let you guys continue to talk about we
can do that show tomorrow if you want.
and all the fantastic things that. Yeah.
Cool. Supreme. Let
me just say something.
My bad. You're gone.
When it comes to stuff like that, it's important that what I'm saying. That it's clear. Yeah, the show's not for that. Nobody interrupts a program and comes off with their own agenda. When you have a program on TV, it's a program. It's only black man that you feel that people think that they can come in and change the whole agenda. No, there's nowhere else.
For God's sake, it doesn't matter if there was a white person running this. Get out of your slave mentality, you victim of society. You're such a victim, and I feel sorry for you. I genuinely.
Man.
Yo, Sophia, say you got she bounced too.
Yeah, you can't. This is what I'm saying. You can't have these type of people. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna tell you that you're emotional while they're being emotional, because they won't face the fact of race. Or because her mother is white, they won't face the fact that they are benevolent and they live in a benevolent way across the entire globe. Now, she doesn't want to hear no more about that. So, isn't there loads of stations on the internet? Isn't there hundreds of stations on the TV? Why do you pick a station to try and usurp its state without a relevant argument? The argument that she has is not relevant. Why are you talking about Utrecht? Like, who are you? Who are you? Where did you come from that you could just interrupt a show and tell people what they should be talking about? That's what white people do. That's why I'm saying she's more like a white girl. End of story. Yes, sir. Next one. Sorry, I'm finished there.
Oh, yeah, but my brother, content, my lord. I forgot my train of thought because of
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, it's all good, brother. I mean, I could wait here while I could bounce. You know what I mean? I ain't a detractor anyway, so I think get the detractors on first. You see me?
Say nothing. I pause for a minute. Car. Raj is on there as well. He said he wanted to do a quick one. So yeah, just stick around. You can come on next. And also, just for clarity, Sophia was the first person that asked for the link. But when I sent the link, it was taking long to respond to it. You get me, sir? That's why I put you on, because I wanted to just keep the show moving. You get me? But obviously, when you came on, Sophia came on. So that took the lead, you get me? But yeah, Raj, you take over for now. Supreme, you come on when you're ready after.
Cool, brother, cool.
Hey, Raj, take your mic off mute. No one can't hear you, man. Take your mic off mute.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I said I'll come on. So how you doing, Leon? You all right? How you doing, people? Good?
Yeah, good.
Everybody's good up here.
Yeah. I actually come on the show because I actually want to speak to the good Doctah. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, brother.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I don't want to come in any kind of like guns blazing and saying you're wrong, you're this. I just want to understand why you think the way you think, because I've been hearing a lot of anti-white, anti-Asian. I'm talking about full-on racist rhetoric on Raspik's show, on Jedi show against white people, calling them white devils, that they're the children of Yakub, that they're Edomites. And so I've never really heard about these terminologies until like the last couple of months. Like when I've been researching this, to me it feels like racism against white people, but it seems like it's a kind of a racism which is in a way kind of condoned and justified as being what you call kind of a justified racism, because the white people have done this against your people. I'm not going to take away from the fact that the white people or the white Europeans have done some of the worst crimes against other races, especially black people who have been enslaved. But other races have done this as well. I mean, as a Sikh, India was conquered by the Islamic conquest, and over an 800-year period, 150 million Indians were massacred, and they were brown people killing brown people. So people have subjugated and killed each other from all different races. It's not just white people that go around doing this. But but I've got to agree, the white people have taken to a pretty let's just say a pretty savage level in terms of the slavery and stuff like that. So what can you just kind of explain? Do you truly believe that the white people were created? I'm just assuming. Are you do you agree with the Yaqub ideology of Nation of Islam, or have I got that wrong?
No, I don't know. I don't know. See, I don't know. These are suppositions. I don't know what's right or what's wrong. What I am saying is that the behavior of a race against another race that seems or is touted as inhuman means non-human. Yeah. So in my hypothesis, then that means that you're not human. The fact where everywhere that they've ever been, they've always been foreigners, and they've always wiped out the indigenous people across the entire globe, means that we are correct. The way in which they live amongst people, I'm not sure. You're saying brown people versus brown people. I'm not sure about the skin tone of a lot of these people, because when you start talking about skin tones and when you look at the Egyptian hieroglyphs, you'll see that there's specific skin tones, and there's the dark, and then there's a little bit dark, and then there's a light and lighter. So I'm not sure which. When you say brown, it depends. There are dark black people, and then there's light black people. So is the light black people the ones who have got the Caucasian or this alien bloodline in them that lightens the skin and is afraid of the sun, or is it actually black people? Because what I've realized in terms of my research is that anywhere that the darker skinned people are across the globe, from Arabia to China to anywhere, they've been wiped out because they're a non-aggressive race. They seemingly are a even the North American Indians, they paint them as redskins, but in truth, a lot of them were dark-skinned blacks. The same with in
Are you saying that the American Indians were non-aggressive people? They used to scalp people.
No,
that was before the white people come. So the Aztecs, who had the Mayan civilization and stuff, they used to do blood sacrifices. They used to kill and massacre people all the time. So what I just want you to I can understand. Are you from a Jamaican background, or are you from what kind of?
You're saying stuff that's been. Yeah, but you're saying stuff that.
No, because I'm trying to understand, because hold on, bro. Can I just say one thing? Because I can kind of relate, because the Sikh people have been persecuted for around 400 years, and this, when I look back at my past and I see, like when I hear stories of Sikh people being butchered, they had bounties on their heads, they were enslaved, and you had scenarios where they would cut their babies up and put them around their necks. It hurts, even though it happened 300 years ago, because they're my people. So I can understand why you'd be upset. But the thing is, I don't go around then saying that the Mughals or the Islamic conquest, that they were aliens. You understand the difference? And that they're evil devil people.
Raj, you don't have to go around saying that, because you're not the one that's saying it. I'm the one that's saying it. So you don't have to do it. Yeah. What I am saying is that there's a lot of the historical timeline has been messed with. Yeah. You have enough. There's a man that's out there they used to laugh at. His name is David Icke. Yeah. And hundreds of thousands of people listen to this man who are white, and he's brought into play a lot of stuff that points to stuff that's missing from the historical timeline. You know what I'm saying? That means that the historical timeline and the documents have been messed with. The idea that you think that Indians were scalping, you need to tell me what a normal human group of people who were the first there would do with scalps. I tell you who was scalping. It was a white man who was scalping. This has been proven, and he used to use the scalps to line lamps, head lamps. This has been proven. But if you're going to listen to regular information and not research that information, then that's what you're going to end up with. That type of quote unquote version. Yeah.
Can I ask you something? You said the word.
There's nothing that the Indians needed white hair for. There was nothing for them. They never used it for decoration. They didn't do. They wouldn't. We human beings do not do nothing for no apparent reasons. Only what I would say, a race that's not fixate, that doesn't understand this planet, which means it's an alien.
All right, so the Mayan civilization, which was around, I think maybe 1,000 years before any white man went to the Americas, they were killing people en masse on these big pyramids, taking out their hearts, sacrificing people. Hold on, Doctor. So even the American Indians used to scalp their enemies. as a kind of like a kind of a trophy. This was not brought in by the white man. In India, when they were going around killing people and butchering people en masse, like I mean, there's an account of 100,000 in one day. There was no white person there. They're all brown people killing brown people.
Well, as I said, I'm
So
not
all
sure.
I want to understand is that I kind of get the feeling that you feel like the white person is some kind of alien evil race who's the only
I
race
didn't
that
say
does
that.
bad to other people, but
if you
everybody
listen
else
to-
was peaceful and walking around in flowers and hugging each other and kissing each other. But that's not the
if you
case.
if you listen,
Everybody was killing each other.
if you listen to me from earlier, I didn't say they were. They didn't say that they were devil. I said they were alien. That means that, you know what I mean. That means different races behaving. That we Sikhs don't behave like necessarily have the same kind of culture as West African. They're just different. So and like I talked about the ants, the soldier ants of the Amazon, what they do. I'm saying if a race is built a certain way, you know what I'm saying. It obviously wasn't built for this planet. You know what I'm saying. If it behaves, if what it thinks is good business or good behavior is to rape and little children, murder, pillage, and obviously there's something wrong with the way they're looking at living harmoniously with this planet, to poison the planet and all stuff like that. Going back to what you said about I'm not sure about a lot of the timeline, the historical timeline. Now that I'm old, I find that it's been messed with. So some of the stuff that you read in history ain't even true.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
It's some. So when you're talking about brown, like going back to the temples, when you look into the temple, there was a particular being that came into place that started that stuff. A being that liked blood. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the people themselves. It was a being that they were celebrating, and that being liked that. Just like how in the Bible it said, "Oh, and he gave forth offering, warm offering, or he gave forth, and the smell was good." This being that came forth was a being just like the beings that are allowing us, the beings right now that are allowing black people to kill little children, to kill other little children with knives, by creating an environment. But hold on, let me finish. By creating a hostile environment and not helping these people to develop because they're under their rulership. Same way, like when you go back to these people who are supposed to be ripping out hearts, they were worshiping a particular deity who came from I don't know, you see, because if you don't understand or you haven't looked into certain things, it's going to be saying like hogwash to you, but who came to them and had this as a wicked order, just like how we're doing things to ourselves now because of white people. You know what I mean? The Congolese now chop off each other's legs and arms. But before the white man got there, there was no such thing in their entire history. But the white man introduced it, and then now he's left. Well, he's still there. But
so are you saying that? Sorry. Let me just say something. Are you saying that us little brown and black people can't take no responsibility for our actions to be controlled by white people? Because what it sounds like you're saying is that the white people are so superior to us that they can make us even kill each other. Can you not see how you're playing into this mindset that the white man? Hold on, let me finish. The way you're sounding is like you actually believe the white man is superior to you, and you think he can control you. The white man can't control me. Yeah, what they can do is economically control countries and subjugate people, but they can't control you in terms of making you kill each other. That's your own decision. Yeah, you've got to take responsibility. So in India, let me give you an example. When the British partitioned India into Pakistan and India, what they did was a crime, because once they partitioned it, they didn't think about the ethnic differences between the people, and 1 million people died in the process, crossing the borders from one side to the next. But what I say about that, although I say that the British were very barbaric and I condemn them for that, the Indians need to take responsibility for killing each other. So a white man didn't go up to, say, a Sikh guy in a village and say, kill your next door neighbor Muslim neighbor, or the other way around, Muslim guy going to a Hindu village and say, oh, I'm going to kill them. No, they made the decision themselves to do it. Yeah, this kind of narrative that you're spewing, I'm sorry, Doctor, you seem like a nice guy, but I feel sorry for you because you sound like you're a victim, that these white people are controlling you to such a degree that they can make you murder each other.
Yeah, but that's because you don't understand, and you probably your Sikh temples and you got all this stuff and whatever. I am saying that when you need to take responsibility. What the Indian people was them living in peace. They took responsibility for living in peace. That's when they took responsibility. You're now saying because a white man come there and they start to kill each other, they should take responsibility for that too.
No, I'm saying I don't. Wait, hold on. Before I need to say I don't believe that. So I'm just going by your logic, yeah. What I was trying to say to you earlier. Hold on. So what I'm trying to say is this, yeah. Hold on. So let me rephrase it, and Doctor, let me rephrase it. Just say for argument's sake, I agree with you. I don't know. Just for argument's sake, I agree with you that the white man brought in this violence and made the black people and Asian people and all the rest of the races start to kill each other and bring violence in. For argument's sake, I agree with that. Yeah. What I'm saying to you, by that logic, you then believe the white man is so powerful and is so superior to you that he can make you kill each other.
Right, you're still talking about superiority. You know what I'm saying? The ability to manipulate someone requires a level of guile and understanding. If that's what you call superior, then that's what you call superior. But if somebody knows something more than you, they can get you to bet on something you don't want to bet on. They can get you to walk down the road you don't want to walk on. They can get you to do things that you didn't intend to do because they have a sense of how you think. Yeah, so that's nothing to do with superior. That's about to do with guile, and that's how you can get somebody like, for instance, you can fool a primitive guy to think like a fire is coming out of your finger by having a lighter in your hand. So that has nothing to do with superiority. I don't think they're superior. I know that they use whatever they use as a material to split India and made you fight each other. When they landed in India, Indians were living in peace. All of them.
They won. Don't talk about my history without knowing nothing. India was a bloodbath for hundreds of thousands of years.
So basically, hold on. You hold on a minute, bro. You hold on a minute.
You're saying something about my land, so I need to say something because you're saying something incorrect. India, was under.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Yeah. Hold on a minute. If you're gonna say that I can't say nothing and like want to talk to me in that type of manner, then you need to.
Sorry, fam. I had to mute him still. Yo, Raj, it's Dr. X's show, fam. So when man says give way, you have to give way still. I don't like muting guests, but when he says give way, you have to give way.
Oh, is it his show? I'm sorry. Man. Oh, I really apologize, man. Sorry, dude.
You have to give way when it's give way.
Oh, cool. Fair enough, man. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't realize it was your show. I just read it now. All right. So cool. All right, yeah. So I'll listen to you.
I'm saying that there are documents where it says that I've forgotten the name of the guy. He said he didn't know what he was going to do with this country because he's come and he does know how he's gonna set people off against each other. I've forgotten his name, and it's obviously documented. I'm not talking off the top of my head. So you're saying it was a bloodbath. I'm saying before they got there, you're saying India was a bloodbath before even white men got there. So what were these white men seeing? Yeah. So what were these white men seeing when they got there? When they say that, we don't know what we're going to do with these people because they seem so balanced and happy. What was he seeing?
So basically, just so that you can understand, not the whole of India was not a bloodbath. India is big.
You just said India was a bloodbath.
So disparate. So I'm saying there was large parts of India that were bloodbath. Remember, India you just think of as a country, but it's more of a continent. So it went all the way to Afghanistan at that point. So the further north you go in terms of where the Sikhs are from and north, like the top of India, was violent for hundreds of years, thousands maybe, because you had conquest coming into, and the people coming into India for hundreds of thousands of years were fellow brown people from Afghanistan, from Iraq, from Turkey, from that. So people that were not necessarily white, and they would come down there. So over an 800-year period from the 10th century to the 18th century, the Islamic conquest ruled India. And in that time frame, 150 million Indians were killed. Yeah, they didn't die from hunger.
Right. So the point is you're making. I'm saying now you've gone back over what I've said and just given me a whole history of something else. What I'm saying is that in terms of somebody manipulating you, you're not just now you've gone on to talk about a war, some far part of the state of India where light-skinned people that you call brown people, because the people from that were quite light-skinned according to the historical documentation. So I'm saying again, I don't know. I don't know. No one knows the fullness. We can all spout history for as long as we want, yeah, and say the world was not perfect. What I am saying is this: is that everywhere that the white man's been, that the black skinned person was, not the light skin or anyone like that, he has murdered them and taken their stuff. So you're not talking about brown and light skinned browns. So I don't know. See, that's a whole nother argument.
Can I ask you a question though? Do you believe
what I am doing this program was based upon African-centered history and what's happened to black people, and how I and some view white people on that basis. You can call it racism if you want, but if somebody's introducing something, unless they're white, it's always hatred if it's white. But if it's black, but if it's white, you've got people being able to say all kinds of manner of things about black people, and then only at the last minute people say, "Oh, it's so wrong. You can't say that." But when the person says it, "Oh, there's something wrong with that. You sound a victim," and how can you discuss a scenario and show specific events along the timeline that involve black collaborators and black integrationists? I mean, it's only the other day we were allowed, because you weren't brought into America the way we was brought into America. It was only in the 60s where we were allowed to eat the same places and drink the same places as these white people. So that's a different history with a different timeline and a different set of psychological circumstances. Now, for you to want to, as an Indian, as a Sikh, to compare that to, because I'm saying that I think white people, are alien to the planet, and you want to say, well, everybody is alien to the planet, or everybody's violent, and then you want to just add that to, like, I don't know what that proves or where.
All right, so can I just say something? I didn't realize it was your particular show. I've just read it now. It's Dr. X. One thing I just want to say, I agree with you that if you, in terms of a particular people that have been subjugated, you can say that, the black people have been subjugated probably more than other races. There's no doubt about that. Even myself, my family's from Uganda, and they went from Punjab and I went to Uganda. And even I agree that when Idi Amin was there, although I despise Idi Amin, I can understand why indigenous black people are annoyed with the Indians, because when I speak to family members about, oh, what did you do when you were there? They didn't really interact with black people. And I think they had a bit of a superiority complex. Same with Gandhi. A lot of people espouse Gandhi as being some kind of savior for all these kind of oppressed people. But Gandhi was racist against black people and racist also against people in his own country that might have been from a lower caste. So I get what you're saying in terms of that. What I'm saying is that it feels like you're demonizing a whole people and making them into being something of you call them aliens basically. So you don't believe they're human beings. Are you saying that you're calling them aliens literally, or do you mean that metaphorically?
No, alien. I mean, it seems alien to the planet. Their behavior seems alien to the Aborigines and the natives. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying.
Oh, all right.
So they're alien. So wherever they come from, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So you can you break that down. If you want to say they're from outer space, you can. If you want to say that, because they're not. If they're alien to the planet, then they're not from the planet. So I'm not sure. I'm not saying that I know. I'm saying that the behavior of these inhumane people, non-human, you know what I'm saying, it's been documented. You know what I'm saying? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of cruelty, not just winning or taking over, not just subjugating or colonizing, just cruelty beyond under any measure. Yeah. So I'm saying that inhumane. So for you to last on this planet as a people, espousing such inhumanity up until today, you know what I'm saying? Where you have all the surplus money that you've gained through all this inhumanity that you've never given back and you've never shared amongst your own people. You have, over the many hundreds of years, you've enslaved your own people and treat your own people like shit. It seems like that's the nature of your race. They've had their servants, call them Lord and Master. You know what I mean? They've had the landlords, own the land, and they have to give them most of the food that they make on the land. All this stuff. They lived in houses without no windows. The people of their people have had to fight for their own rights amongst themselves. And now the bottom players, now the bottom feeders of that group of people now has now become us. So they found out a new way to create that same dynamic by destabilizing countries and importing the immigrants of these people who are desperate to leave the wars that that they started in the countries, or they're a part of starting in the countries, or they funded starting in the country, give out this other type of information. You know what I'm saying? This is why they don't like people like Alex Jones and all that. Give out this other type of information to the general public and people like yourself to say, oh yeah, that's true, because they said it's true. And then you've got this continuous import of free or cheap labor that's coming to this country, while working class and middle class people are using them to make businesses, making money from them, and stepping up their lives. Now that they've reached a certain type of tipping point of that, they want to get rid of some of them. It's a continuous behavior of a malevolent group of people. They cannot. Yes, there are individual white people who seem to be quite friendly and quite helpful, and many. You know what I'm saying? But we're not talking about all individual white people. We're talking about the race, how the race performs. Just like how they say, oh, black people do this, or black people are killing the streets, or black people. That's the same. I'm replaying the favor when I say white people, not all white.
All right. So that makes a bit more sense. You're not literally saying they're alien. You're saying their behavior is alien to human beings. You feel like it's a savage kind of behavior that might be alien to the human race. But you're not saying they're aliens per se.
I'm saying no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying then you do with that what you may.
All right. So you're leaving it to the individual to figure out what.
When you start listening to people like David Icke, there could be a non-human element that has entered a gene pool, because you start talking about if you go beyond just a regular thinking person and start talking about reptilians, or you start talking about various other types of visitations, or various type of interactions, or the faces that are on the early faces that are on the pyramids, the Cyrus and all that stuff, and some of the other stuff written by other scholars talking about,
could it not just be about climate? Because if you're in a hot climate like Africa, which is hot all year round, you're not going to have that mentality of trying to kind of preserve yourself. Because so what I'm saying is that when you're in like Northern Europe or something like that where it's cold, you get the kind of mentality of like in the summertime you've got to save for the winter, and so you have to keep on kind of being selfish in a way. But I think in Africa, like you had a different culture where you might have had good weather all the time. You didn't have to worry about saving up your foods for the winter because it's not really any winter. So maybe it's the temperament of the two different people when they clashed. It led to kind of like the barbarity that we saw. Can I ask you, because I'm going to go in a bit, but do you classify the Dravidians as black people of India, the Dravidians of India?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
They're dark skinned, so yeah.
All right. So there's a theory, because my people are from the north and we're lighter than the south. They refer to people from the north as Indo-Aryans, yeah. And so there is a theory that I don't know if it's true that the Harappan civilization from 5,000-6,000 years ago, they used to be the Dravidians, the dark-skinned people, and then some people from say the Caucasus, not necessarily white but lighter skin, came in and then pushed the Dravidians down, and then kind of colonized the place and created the caste system, which is basically, you could say, is a racial hierarchy at the time, where you had the light-skinned people at the top. So do you agree with that? Do you agree with that particular theory?
Of course, because I've read that. I've read that in terms of the era, and the dark-skinned person walking about behind these things and waiting for them to shit. I mean, what I'm saying is that the whole planet is like that. Everywhere that the light-skinned man plant himself across the entire planet, every continent, he's done exactly the same thing. And everybody was before him were dark-skinned. Even the cheddar man that they recently made up just the other day in Europe was dark-skinned.
So do you classify the North Indians as in what? Because I think there is this kind of dispute about what is Caucasian. Caucasian means people from the Caucasus. So people that are from North India can be classified as Caucasians in that sense. Yeah. So would you classify the North Indians as other as well, and more savage than the Dravidians?
Yeah, I'm not. You see, I'm not. You see, you have to spend. Sometimes you have to spend. I have to take that information from somebody who studied that for a long time. I can have a viewpoint, but my viewpoint is that the timeline, the historical timeline, has been fucked with. You know what I mean? They've lied stuff and they've taken stuff out and they've burnt certain records. They even tried to bury Hatshepsut as a woman, you know, as a black woman, black queen, in there to dig her out of some place that whoever took her over before tried to hide the femininity and the strength of the femininity of the original people of that world, you know, the original Egyptians, not the ones who came later. So I'm saying that there's so much lies, and it seems to be fundamental to the European mindset to lie and to deceive. And these reasons are not, because they're not truthful, obviously, and because there's not enough people to be able to broach this. You have to take a lot of this stuff from white people, from me anyway, that are willing to share this information and expose their own self. Like, you know, like you have the teachers, like they came from caves. Forgot the guy who wrote that. You know what I'm saying? And the aggression of the white man. Now, this idea that they came from caves. How did they get to the caves? They say, oh, they travel from. I'm saying, well, I don't think so, because they don't even look like it. The DNA is different. They don't look like us. You know what I'm saying?
So why do you think? Before I go on, Theo, can I just address a comment on the thingy just for 1 second, please? Leon.
Leon, what are you talking about?
I just want to address one comment for 1 second.
Was it unrelated? Some insult, some.
It's not really unrelated, but I just want to say something, please. I beg you, just one
quick
time.
Things, Raj. Quick things. Don't mock.
All right, so to Dill Singh half year. If you truly think you can do better, you little pussy, jump on. There's an open thingy. Give your email. Don't be a keyboard warrior and a turd the rest of your life, you little prick. And jump on before you start criticizing me. All right. So
what happened?
He's no Sikh, brother. He's a freaking gutter dwelling prick of epic.
Hey, your ex.
All right. So go on.
Sikh family saying that Raj is getting battered up. Yeah, mad thing.
Yeah, so can I ask you a question? Do you feel that how do you think white people then became, because we know people came from Africa, yeah, and they moved upwards. Do you believe that their skin lightened because of the colder climate, or do you think they started mixing with like Neanderthals, and then because there is this when they've done a DNA test of a lot of white people, especially Europeans, they have between 1 to 5% of Neanderthal DNA, and people from China and places, but the only people that don't have Neanderthal DNA is people that are indigenous to Africa. I mean, Leon probably had Neanderthal DNA because these people are from Jamaica, but anyone that was never left Africa tends to not. Could that not explain why white people might have green eyes, blue eyes, and have the powder skin?
They might mix with another species as well, like, because green eyes, you know, these things come from another order, and if you don't believe in any other order but human beings, then you're stuck there. We can't have this discussion. I believe there's other types of beings that have been on this planet. So if you're not on that same page with me, then whatever I say to you, it sounds like rubbish. Right now, if they interbred, if they interbred with reptilians, you could see why their lips are thin. You could see why they've got different eyes. You can see why all original human beings have brown eyes. You can see. You say, well, how come all original people of every original have brown eyes and black hair? You know, and when the Sumerians created human beings, they called them the Igigi, and they said the black-headed one. So everywhere on the planet where indigenous people are, their hair is black. Then we've got these people who claim that, you know, there's a mutation or whatever, who are blonde hair with different color eyes, even yellow eyes. This is not mammalian eyes. Mammalian, well, I suppose there's some mammals that have it, I guess, but most human beings across the entire planet who are original species of human beings have brown eyes and black hair.
Yeah, but that's what I'm asking you, because I can agree with you on that in terms of people come from Africa, but when they moved upwards and went into Northern Europe, but instead of this, because I'm not going to say that this there was never aliens here. Anything could be true. We could be in a matrix. We could be like anything. I can't say it's true or not. There could have been aliens everywhere. We never know. I'm not that type of person to say, oh, you're crazy for saying that. I'm like, all right, cool. That's what you think. Let's try and figure out whether that's true. But I mean, a more kind of sensible, or not sensible, let's just say more logical view might be that the Africans here, or the Homo sapiens, moved upwards and went into Europe, and Europe had been inhabited by Neanderthals for like 600,000 years before Homo sapiens went up. Yeah. And so they might have started, the theory is they started mating with those people, and maybe the genes from those Neanderthals carried the lighter skin, the particular hair, the green eyes and stuff. So they just had a different kind of like phenotype.
They weren't made from the same materials then, was they? They weren't, because if you live on a sun planet and a solar system, then that sun planet would, before this quote unquote ice age and the moon that wasn't there before and all sorts of stuff that it's difficult to go in right this moment. If this was and it was a sun planet, and everybody, all human beings are black people, all of them. There is no white people there. So when did they come into being on the planet to be Neanderthal? You know what I'm saying? Because all humans were created out what they say, from mitochondria Eve, which would have been a black woman, so all her children would have been black. So the only
can I just say that I don't believe in the Adam and Eve theory at all.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm using whatever theory you want to use. I'm saying, if you go back to the Sumerian tablets previous to the Bible, it talks about creating these beings, you know what I'm saying, as slaves, or creating them, because the gold of the land was good. There's lots of stories.
So can I ask you before I go, because I'm going to go in a bit, but can I
go back Peter, they've got their own stories. There's so many different stories.
Can I ask you, do you believe in the theory? Because I've read some, because obviously on Raspik's channel there's a lot of racism towards white people and even Asian people. And one of the things I keep on hearing is Yakub this, you're the son of Yakub. And so when I started researching, that theory is from the Nation of Islam, that the white man was actually created by a black man with a guy called Yakub with a big head, specifically to subjugate the black people. Like he was just the only role is to come down and destroy and subjugate the black people. Do you believe in that kind of theory that the white people are just there for that reason?
No. I
all right.
I don't believe in any of those. But I do believe that, like I said, it's clear that that's what they're doing, subjugating the human race. So if they're subjugating, who are they? Are they actually human? So if they say Yakub made him, none of my investigation says that comes true for me. So I can't agree with something that I haven't found out for myself, or I don't believe for myself. I don't group believe. I try not to anyway, and then I try and find out, does that sit right with me, and that's it. And I'm saying that doesn't sit right.
What happens when you meet white people that are good people who are trying to do trying to repent for some of the past sins? There's a lot of people, like white people, are literally whipping themselves into a fervor to make up for past atrocities.
Hold on, I don't want to get into this. You're moving that argument to something emotive now. I'm saying we're not talking about. We're talking. We're not destroying. I'm not walking around with a gun. I'm talking, and I'm trying to espouse my theory. You can't start asking about. I know white people. I work with white people. I grew up with white people. You can't start asking me about you're looking for some little small little bit where I can say, oh yeah, white people they're really nice. Don't do that. That's not really intellectual. If you want to argue the point, let's start getting into what if the white people that are nice and I met a lot of white people. The first person that introduced me to black history was a white woman. So I don't want to get into all of that. That's just that, and anybody that's listened to me knows that. So I don't want to get into all of that. That's not what we're talking about.
But don't you think that if these people that you've met heard your views, wouldn't you think that they might be a bit offended by your rhetoric?
Your mind's become weak. You've allowed the European mindset to you're saying about stuff like that. Well, they're manipulating your mind to talk about offense all the time. If you're speaking and there is no intention to offend, because I want to tell you, go and fuck yourself. That's me trying to offend you. If I'm saying to them, they should fuck themselves, then you have to say to them, well, does that offend me? Or do I want to be offended? Now, what they've developed in the society, this weakness within people that you cannot just say what you need to say, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not politically correct and all this kind of stuff. They've managed to change words. They've managed words to suit their temperament whenever they feel like. So if they decide that where black people are now racist, which we can really not be, we can be prejudiced, but we can't be racist.
No, you can be racist, Dr. X. Sorry.
You can't. We can't be racist. You can't be racist against your own race. That's stupidity.
Oh, no, not against your own race, but you can be racist towards, say, Asians and white people and stuff like that.
You can be racist to another race, but you cannot be racist towards white people. You know what I'm saying? You can't be racist towards white people. I'm sorry, you can't be racist to your own people.
No, I don't believe you can be racist towards your own people. I agree. And the thing is, Dr. X here, one thing I agree with you, what you said, that people are too soft nowadays and too easily hurt by words and stuff.
They're not too soft. They've been programmed.
Or manipulated, whichever way you want to say it. But I believe that people.
So therefore,
I like to hear very.
And that's our earlier argument of how you have to stand up for yourself. That's what I'm doing. So you're saying they have to take account for themselves. I'm saying you're saying that how did they end up killing each other? How do people end up saying good morning? How are you? Have a nice day. Well, you're welcome. How do thousands of people end up saying that across London without nobody programming them to do that. Thousands of people, hundreds of thousands start saying, good morning, have a nice day, have a nice day, good morning, like some robots. That means that there is a program at foot. You know, when you look at some of the stuff that's on the internet, when you go across 15 different TV stations, they're all saying the same things. You know, and we're not trying to be. You clicked on them. Oh, we're not trying to be this. So there's somebody programming people have found a way to enter into the psyche of man, yeah, and been able to manipulate their psyche to do their will. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
The idea that it cannot happen, and we've got to take. If the people are benevolent, you have a different outcome from a people who are malevolent. So if you're controlling somebody's brain and you have bad intention, the outcome for the people who have bad intention is going to be different from the people who have good intention.
All right, so Dr. X here, I agree with you. If you hear what I say, but I don't base that on race. I've said that most people are sheep, and if you can easily manipulate them into the, no, what I'm saying, you can easily manipulate people into doing pretty much anything up to a certain degree. But what I'm saying,
that's because the people have the technology to understand how you think. That's how they've sprayed them. That's why they put fluoride in the food. That's how they put chemtrails in the air, because they know how to manipulate your mind. That doesn't mean you're a sheep. It means that you're a human being, and human beings are not designed to go to war every single day. That's why they talked about the Garden of Eden. That's why they talk about the planet of Eden. They talked about people not living to try and rob each other, steal from each other, they weren't living for that. Human beings are not designed that way. Quite clearly, when you go to indigenous people, only when you come to the urbanized and the people that have mixed in with the whites and the people that have mixed in the, those are the people that that can't stand each other. But when you go into the urban, if you go into the indigenous places where people have lived for hundreds of thousands of years or thousands of years by themselves, you don't find that. And that means they're human. What you want to say? Oh, they're primitive. No, they're human. That's what they are first. Primitive is just a state.
All right, Dr. X, I need to go here, but one thing I do want to
go now. Then you've been saying that for a minute.
No, I do truly need to go. But you're a very interesting guy, man. I like talking to you. So I've listened and I've heard. I'm not going to say that everything. I'm not going to disagree and say everything you're saying is wrong. Some of the stuff you've got some gold mine in there, but there's a lot of trash as well. No offense, bro. But the thing is, a bit like me as well, though. It's a bit like me. If you listen to me, there's a lot of trash, but there's some good stuff in it. But one thing I have to strongly disagree with is that black people cannot be racist to other races, because I've heard people say racist stuff to white people, and I know you're going to like prejudice plus power, but I don't necessarily agree that is the only way to be racist. Like, you can be racist if you're walking down a road, yeah. Hold on, bro. If you're walking down a road, yeah, and if you're an Asian person and a black person's walking towards you and they don't like you because you're Asian, yeah, and they come up to you and start harassing you and demonizing you or trying to beat you up or whatever, then they're being racist towards you. Yeah, that is still racism, because they don't like you because you're a different color to them or a different race to them. So black people can be racist on the individual level as well.
Well, like I said, I think that's a modern racism is a modern, and they have twisted it to suit their purposes. You know what I'm saying? And I get what you're saying, because you're gonna still. I can just not like you because what do you call somebody who don't like someone because they're on their street, like postcode? What do you call someone who don't like someone because they don't have their train, the same trainers on? Because what do you call them, a trainerist? I don't know what you call them. You know, what you call someone who's living on the wrong side of the street or on the wrong estate at the wrong time? What do you call them? An estatist. What it is just like, if anything you want to call it, whether it's racism or whatever, the real paradigm starts with, the real term doesn't start with Indians. Indians in terms of our community and most other lighter skinned races, even though we got lighter skinned races amongst us, tend to benefit from the oppression of white people in all our communities. They can. Yeah,
I said that about.
Let me finish this. Indians and Sikhs and all of these people and Chinese and Koreans can come into our communities and get wealthy. Black people cannot go into their communities. Black people have to fathom through white people to get, and work through a white system to get to these people to buy from.
I'll tell you why.
You won't find that. It doesn't matter what the reason why you give me why. I'm just trying to show you the dynamic why people still say you can't be racist, because in a sense you lot still have power. You've got this. You're piggybacking off the same white man power. So that's why they're saying that it's power plus prejudice. So it's difficult. Like I said, in the individual basis, for individual black man doesn't like an individual white man, you know, or Asian man or whatever, Chinese man. That's not racism, because again, an individual black man cannot like you because you ain't got the wrong trainers on. We're talking about its overall meaning of racism, which is you having power, you know what I'm saying, and you're able to manipulate and wield that power to the detriment of these people. So racism isn't an individual, it isn't based on individualism. Racism is based on race, not the individuals within the race. The race, how the race maneuvers. So the race of Indians maneuver like this in our black community.
So can I ask you a question? If say if a black guy was running a large corporation and he was hired, say like 500 people, he made the company from scratch, went all the way up, and he's now running this company, employing 500 people from different races and stuff. And then he's a bit racist himself here. So when he's kind of employing people, he does preferential treatment to the blacks, and he mistreats the employees that are not black. Is that not power plus prejudice that would make him racist? Would you not agree, or is that something that
not from my point of view? That would be from your point of view. That wouldn't make him racist from my point of view, would it? Because I'm the same race as him. Just like I'm saying that. Just like when the Indians are in India, but you can call it what you want. I'm not trying to tell you what to call it. I'm trying to show you how we view it as a black race. How you view it as an Indian race, that's your business. That's not my business.
No, but
the Indians are in the black community doing that. The other Indians don't see it as racist. When the Chinese are in the Chinese doing that and giving each other heads up and the Chinese don't see it as racist. So why would I, as a black man, have this overall view? If I see if you see it as racist, that's your business. That's not my business. To me, that's just.
I'm asking you, not whether you.
No, I'm saying you can't.
Hold on, Doctor, please, one second. I'm asking you this because you're saying black people can't be racist. I'm saying, if somebody had the power that they're running a company employing 500 people and they are sacking people based on race, is that racist or not? But is that racist or not?
But you get an answer and you don't like the answer, so you ask the question.
No, because I don't think it's a straight answer. It's a yes or no kind of answer.
No, you can't. You see, this is what I'm saying to you. Like, I'm not in court and I'm under no demand to answer you the way you want me to. The answer I'm giving you is the answer that I'm giving you, and I'm saying to you this again. When people are in the Chinese community, is it racist to Chinese people? You can't ask me as another race to support your view as another race of what racism is when I've already told you that it's about races. You're another race to me, so I'm not going to then say, oh yeah, that is racist. Like I'm not the white people. I haven't got a holistic view of the world, and I can't say everything I say is right, and then I'm going to against this guy, I'm for this guy. I'm saying to you, if you believe or your race believes that it's racist, you know what I'm saying, then that's your business. But meanwhile, while I'm looking and my sons and my daughters and the people around me are looking, they're looking and going, well, that's just equating everything. You know what I'm saying? We're not saying, oh, that's racist. You're saying that's racist because now you're on the other end of the stick, which is what you've been doing for how many years and don't feel no way. None of you feel no way.
I do agree with one thing here, that like Asian people do, when they set up shops and stuff, they do have a very what you call kind of like they look very inwards in terms of their own community, in terms of who they're going to employ. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but if they employed somebody and then they sacked them just based on their race, then that would be racist. Do you understand? Like, I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that black people should not be selfish in terms of employing people from their own background and supporting their community. In fact, that's the best thing to do in terms of to bring the money back into your community.
Bro, you know, you're talking.
Anyway, thanks a lot. Anyway, you know, Dr. X, I really appreciate you chatting, man. I had a good chat with you, man. Big up to Dr. X as well, man. Big up to Leo, man. Thanks for coming. Sorry, I apologize for coming on. I didn't understand what the nature of the program was.
The same thing like Sophia and take over the show, and
I didn't realize it. All I saw was Hollywood Effect. I didn't know what Dr. X was and Ghetto, so I didn't realize that it was a kind of like a, you know, his panel, and then people come and talk to him. So yeah, I apologize if I come across as a little bit thingy. But till that dual thing, half your gut dwelling prick, come onto my channel, Manny Cinders, on Friday and try and address all the pussy hell comments you made. All right, bye.
Cool, man. Respect.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, this is how we're communicating, whether you agree or you don't.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like I said, like when Chinese people and these people they're coming, they it's like they always trying to get us to turn to view the world the way they want it to, because like sometimes they actually do feel a way that, you know what I mean, but this individuals can't do anything about what their race is doing. You get what I'm trying to say? The race has to move. So you might be, you know, like I said, it was a white woman that introduced me to Black history. So what that means, I must love all white people then? It just that doesn't make no sense. Or you got attacked by a black guy, so you must hate all black people. None of that makes sense. All I'm saying is that if you view, I'm saying that as a black man, I can't view. You want me to view things like I'm a god, like I'm a white man, like I have whatever I say goes. I know what I view, how I view the world according to my race, my upbringing, my environment, and all that. Now, I can't then agree with your view of the world when it's contrary to my view of the world, because you're trying to play semantics with words. That's not what I'm going to do. If you believe that, you know, black people are racist, if that were in that case, then that's up for you to believe. But none of us are in that position, really. That's what you call a make-believe scenario. And even if it does happen, how little bit is that scenario in comparison to the Koreans and the Indians and the Sikhs and the Chinese in our community? Really.
You know, you know what it is, you know, Chief, and when you're going into Doctah, I mean, you know, when you're going in on Hollywood, yeah, you know, that's the thing. Hollywood's been made to, you know, program the people. You see what I'm saying? So that's why other people don't have no empathy for black people, because the devil taught them not to have empathy. You understand?
Yeah,
even the TV programs is lack of empathy. You know, there's not really a lot of moral fiber in the community. You know.
Absolutely. You know? I agree with that still. Like, and
that's
why
I'm these guys saying, "Well, we're having fun. I'm making money. So why aren't you? Why aren't you black people doing it? You black people just complain."
But as I said, Ron, everything that they're getting they come up from and their lavish life is from abusing black people across the planet. You can't. How can I, as a black man, celebrate? You know, like they celebrate St. Patrick's Day. We find out as time goes on that they murdered all this guy was a part in murdering all the black people that was in Ireland. Like, you know, black people are the original human beings across the planet, not Africans. They're just the original creation of whoever created us. You know what I'm saying? And so all this all about they went there and it was dark and it was cold. That would have happened 100,000 million years after we were created. This cold climate. So where did you actually come from? That's what I'm saying. Like, so we had existed on the planet for eons before there probably this other type of man existed, because we were made this way. It says in the Sumerian tablets, if you read it, that these were black people. It says Kemet, or, you know, Kemet, Sudan, the land of the blacks, the black land. It's just black. So there's no white land anywhere in ancient history. There is no other type of land that says this was the type of people. These people just emerged in history at some place and just totally alienated the people. You know, from the Pharisees I don't know if that was the first group of them who attacked Egypt. You know, and when the people are not that violent, then like the Indians, and you know what I mean, and people keep making up stuff that they were told by white people. Yeah, human beings are designed to be violent. They made that way. They was designed to be workers according to the Sumerian tablet. So they lived everywhere that the white men went. They were living in relative peace. Australia was the same. The Aborigines were the same. The native Indians, the Arawak, or whatever you want to call them, the Tiano, you know what I'm saying, of the Caribbean, they were all living in relative peace. Relative is far away from what's happening now, what they've done to us. So far, it's like from here to the other side of the universe. So you can't say, oh, because you had war or you had slaves and all that. The difference, the stark difference is so magnificent that it's hardly worth even mentioning. You know what I'm saying? So
I would blame it on the nature, and I believe that the devil was created with this intent. You know, that I remember last time we were speaking, I was saying it's just their nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree.
And you were saying about you know, you have to be careful in some of these conspiracy guys, you know, because they be misdirecting. You know, I think, you know, because, you know, the devil, he's got eyes in every, you know, he deals with controlled opposition. You know, that's what this Muslim thing is. You know, he'll make a white race, you know, MK Ultra, make one of these white racist, go and kill a whole load of Muslims, then he will make a Muslim, and he'll be financing both sides. He'll be playing both sides.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
the thing is,
Just so
you can. It's easy to tell. It's something that's easier to tell them for me with the arrogance. You can always see their arrogance. The arrogance always stands out, no matter whether they're black or white, or green or yellow. Arrogance always precedes them. So when you hear them talking, that you can always tell. You can call it a devil. You can call it, demonic. Because demon just means away from man. So it's lots of. I remember the timeline's been altered, and the historical order has been messed up, and the historical documentation has been torn apart and rejiggled. So a lot of the stuff that we're not absolutely sure of. So
okay, yeah. I hear you.
I mean, we're just working with what in essence we're gonna have to then believe. Because
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I told you last time about Von Daniken. From the man ain't still talking about black people, yeah. Then them man ain't, you have to be careful with his information, because them man they will skew it. Even what's his name? David Icke. He don't want to say that back in them days, yeah, that 6,000 years ago, it was just blacks. He don't talk that. He never talks that.
I know. None of them do.
Never talk about race. Never touch race.
Historian is another one. None of them do, and I get that. But I'm saying to you, that's why it's because there's a, this is why people say we're kings and this and gods and all that. There's a majesty of just being that being. That you was made to be this being. You was made to land. Service the earth and make, so that your time and its time can live for long. You know what I'm saying? And the sun. You know what I'm saying? There is no, and the moment you remove the woman, you know what I'm saying? Because some of the people say, even the earth itself is a female entity. Once you remove the woman, you create a whole new, I don't know what, you create a whole new existence. You know what I'm saying? Once you remove the woman, and they remove the woman purposely in all of their, all those new, them alien sort of races. They remove the woman. Once you remove it and put her back and subjugate her, that's almost like you're subjugating the very strength of the man, and then saying the man is this, that, and the other. You get what I'm saying? And nowhere in our history, when you go to Egypt, because I've been, you know what I'm saying? Do you see that? You don't see subjugation of women. So where did we learn to subjugate our women from? Even in places in Africa to this day, you don't see subjugation of women. You know what I'm saying? People have their order and they do what they're supposed to do according to their order. Tall people do tall things. Short people can't do tall things without a ladder. You know what I mean? It's just, there's certain things that are just fundamental. But then a mindset comes along and says he can change anything to make anything possible to anything. This is another being. This is not the creation of from time immemorial. This is a being that's entered into the timeline and decided to fuck it up. And that's what we've got to listen to right now. That's what I'm saying. Hollywood, like I said, the dystopian, the negative future that it paints and all its new sort of technological pictures is showing you something. All the things that we've learned from the movies, you know what I'm saying? That because with somebody that, and again, some of these callers are taking a bit offline. Next time we need to just cut them off very early, because if they're not on what I'm talking about, a lot of the chunk of the show has been talking about something that had nothing to do with what I was really talking about. I wanted to stay on this topic, which is about Hollywood and its effect on black people or the movie media. You know what I'm saying? So,
you have to defend yourself though, bro. And I think it was nice, you having to defend yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because it's better to have the detractors than the the supporters sometimes. It makes your sword sharper, brother. It makes your sword sharper. And
but
you teach better.
Around the era, because there's so many eras to talk about, and like when they shift the eras, we talk about one era, we could do shows for the rest of the year. So you know what I'm saying? It's like other eras to talk about. So when you're in one era, you should talk about it. But like people are they're trying so hard to put us in our place all the time. Like that the woman caller from earlier on. You're just gonna jump out and say stuff, and you sound like that's how everything she said I've heard before in the style, the manner I've heard before. That's how white people sound when they're being condescending, when they're trying to make you out to be small or small-minded, or like you're a hateful person, all that kind of stuff. They try to make you out, but they don't have no idea who you are. But it's the fear of the reality of what you're saying. It jars them. It must jar you. So just leave me alone. Why don't you just go back? Why would you feel you need to say something then? Because if I hear some bullshit on the TV, which is plenty, I just turn off. You know what I'm saying? But because they feel they have power, that white in that particular person feels they have power. All these people who have got this DNA, this Aryan DNA, this type of, they somehow feel that they have a better say. And I've explained earlier on that there's a lot of mixed racing that's got the black in them, and you're now seeing them as light-skinned blacks, and you think you're looking at a race. You're not. We're looking at an admix. We're looking at a mixture of Spanish, you know, all these Arabs and all them. There's a mix, and some of them are light, and some of them are actually white. You've got white Spanish, you know, that have emerged out of that mix. You've got white Arabs that have emerged out of the black mix, the original. You've got white Chinese that have emerged out of the original black mix. White, we're talking. So they might have these other pictures, but they're white-skinned people. So they share the same gene pool as a Caucasian. How they've done it is what is tricky, because everything's been hidden and rearranged. So you don't know how a Chinese person ended up being white and starting to wear shade around his head when no shade exists for black people across the entire planet. You know what I'm saying? The sombreros of the American. How did you end up with a sombrero, bro? Where no black people, no black-headed people along the planet with melanin need to shade from the sun. You see what I'm saying? And you know, obviously, you know what I'm saying? Now we do it, we wear dark, all this stuff that we do now that we never had to do. We wouldn't have created these things. Like, we'd have never made sunglasses because we never needed them. We'd have never made baseball hats because we never needed them. We'd have never made a sombrero because there's no way we'd have ever needed one. You get what I'm trying to say? So these things are in existence for another race of people. But obviously, us being mixed in and we're now partaking. But you know, I'm not. You know, they're saying it's hatred, but I'm saying, how can it be hatred when I'm documenting everything that I'm saying? You just don't like it. You know what I'm saying? And and this again. Oh, so we should all shut up and just do what you want to do. Talk about the atrocity, like it's a shared atrocity. Like we're not still dying on the street. Not black guys are not still killing each other, and you know that's not still happening. So let's just talk about what you want to talk. Sure, there's lots of platforms for that. Sure.
Well, like I said, you know, like I said, it's a lack of empathy, you know, and when we're dealing with the Chinese and all of that, you know, we gotta remember that you see that I heard that the Chinese, you see that the Great Wall of China, I heard it's facing China. It's actually facing China. So, you know, and there's history of back in the day how people was trying to corner off the certain, they were building gates in Europe and stuff like that to keep people out and stuff like that. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff, man. I think Elijah Muhammad had it spot on, brother. You know, because you can look at Champollion's work, and when he deciphered the Medinetta, he found that word Tamahu, and Tamahu means created people. You see what I'm saying? And we got to remember during the first, because there was 3 dark ages in Egypt. You had the first, and they call it the intermediate periods. So when you got dealing with the first and the second, no one don't really know what happened in the first, why they went into the first dark age. Because usually when the devil got, even when Europe, when they start doing their dark ages, they want to get rid of certain information. Like they did even in when they got rid of the Moors out of Spain, they was burning books. See what I'm saying? And then when they went to Africa, they came and they were burning books because they've been getting rid of our history and stuff like that. Obviously, the devil's got the truth. Don't get it twisted. The devil, it's not like he don't know, you know.
Yeah, but you see what I'm
the devil
saying?
knows.
So the devil, struck by even by what you're saying, is not a human being. So therefore, you know what I'm saying? So he could be, rather than put him in some kind of religious context, it could just be another alien. It could just be somebody that doesn't belong here and don't like the people that he found here. Like you talk about fallen angels. Now, anything coming from the sky would have, if you believe in anything, in any of the ancient books, the Bible included, nothing falls from the sky unless it comes from the sky. Nothing just evaporates unless there's temporal holes or dimensions in the sky that they fell through. Either which way, they don't come from Earth. So if there were things that fell to Earth, if you're a Bible and you haven't and talk about angel and listen to the Hollywood programming of la 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 and bells and fucking and white clothes and wings, those are constructs that were made up by, and got nothing to do with the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So if you listen to all that, you know what I'm saying, then you believe that that's how they came. When it's they went in unto men, it doesn't say they took them as wives. It said they were. Do you know if they raped them or not? When it said that they came to Earth and the men saw, where were the women? Where were the goddesses? Was this a homosexual race that came to Earth and found a woman good? You know what I mean? Which is why homosexual. I don't know. What I'm saying to you is that when the reason why you was told stories back in the day, it was to charge your imagination, so you could then venture into your imagination and figure out things for yourself. or what is due to you according to the frequency that, or the family line you was made under. Everybody's not going to see the same picture. That's not how it's going to happen. But some people are going to able to translate a picture that is beyond the average person to another person, so they can understand it. That's the same thing with translation of language. So, as you said about the metaneta, I couldn't understand that. You couldn't understand it. Somebody did and told us what was going on. That's what I'm trying to say to you. So a lot of this
I'm
stuff.
I'm going by Champollion. He's the
That's
one
what
who
I'm saying,
found.
but
Yeah, he's the one who founded it in like the 17th centuries.
Like I said, I didn't and you didn't. That's what I'm saying to you. People are on certain rhythms or DNA, whatever you want to call them, that they're able to do something that you and I are not able to do, but we can absorb that into our, into our life and whatever. You understand? So I'm saying that's what I'm saying about me, how I'm functioning. There's things that I see that maybe other people don't see. So therefore, as I said, the way I view it in terms of the alien species or whatever, I've seen by reading these books and reading, people have not used their, not so much their imagination, but their thought process to rationalize some of this stuff. And then I'm not able to add thing 2 and 2 together and take from here and add it to this is how these people come and create the language or understand the language by deciphering one word and then next word and then linking it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important for us, to understand the Hollywood effect or any effect, in fact, because the next one I'm doing is the love hypothesis.
No, you're right. You're right with what I was going to ask you this question. Do you think that the devil can get off the planet? Do you think they can go to different planets and stuff like that? Do you think that's possible?
And that's what I'm saying. Like you say the devil, like every time people say the devil, it reminds me of a single being. But they have to be a race of beings because it says they went in unto men if they fell from the sky, if it's them.
Okay, yeah. Do you think that the powers that be right now that run this planet, do you think that they can get to the go get off this planet?
Well, they've already lied about going to the moon, haven't they? I mean, like, if you don't know some stuff and you haven't started, everybody, because of the way people live, people work and what they have to do and what they have to survive with, they're not going to know some stuff. So you're going to say stuff to people and they're not going to understand what you're saying because they didn't hear that information on the news. You know what I'm saying? Right. There's plenty of books on the internet. There's plenty of stuff to tell you that they haven't been to the moon. There's no evidence that they've been to the moon. It's a Hollywood effect. It's just a fabrication of going to the moon. As you know, the same thing about John Kennedy being shot. It's a Hollywood effect. One man didn't shoot him. They've proved this. But do you want to believe it? No. It's a Hollywood effect. There weren't no plane that crashed into no. They've proven it. But you see, with these people that run these aliens or whoever this inhumane group that runs, they choose evidence what they want you to see. Where is the skid marks of the plane that crashed into the other building? There's none. How comes in the movie, in the film of the footage, the plane's nose goes to the other side of the building? You know what I'm saying? How comes that? How comes you find a plane blows up and you find their passport with their picture with some burn marks around the end? This is Hollywood.
I believe the R. Kelly case and all that. I believe that's Hollywood as well.
So, yeah, some of it because I remember back in the day.
Cosby as well.
Yeah, all of it. It's like they can do that. This is what they're trying. That's what they're mastering their art for when they're ready. You know what I'm saying? Bill Cosby is definitely Hollywood. Why would you touch him? You've got Weinstein. I've done this quite a few times. You've got Weinstein. You've got the man that went married his own daughter, Woody Allen. You know what I'm saying? All this little filthy behavior. Weinstein, the other boy that touched up my man's balls. The other boy that was having sex with little boys. Oh, there's so many of these guys that are getting away with it. And yet, when it comes to the black man, they focus hard on him because they are another race. They are racist by nature. What they can do and get away with, they know it's foreign to you. That is why they're making all these black homosexuals in all these series. Anywhere there's a lead black, there's got to be a black homosexual. They're only 13% of the fucking nation. What they do with so many homosexuals in so many films, in so many series? Shouldn't there be a lot more white homosexuals? Because you are over 90% of the population. So why so many black? When did black people become champions of homosexuality? Not that there's no black homosexuals, but everything they do when it comes, they disproportionalize it. There shouldn't be that. I mean, you didn't want to give us proper roles when we were just normal black people. Now homosexuals been raised by a black man. You're putting all these films from The Wire to you know what I'm saying, to the Discovery, the new Star Trek. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere you can find to put a black homosexual, Black Lightning, you got his daughter as a homosexual. Everywhere you can find to put a lesbian or homosexual in the black community in a film, that's where you're putting him. So what happened to what happened to other roles? Where's a black hero? Where's our black action hero? Where's a hero that you could go, yeah, I like, you know what I'm saying? No, they only want white ones. So you know that their race and their institutions are racist, which makes them as a race racist. They're white. I don't call it white supremacy. I call it white power domination or white racist domination. But there's no supremacy about what they're doing. As I said before, supreme means it's a positive word. So you should not use white and supreme after it. You know what I'm saying? Or what they've been doing to us, Ku Klux Klan, chopping us up, murdering us. That's not an act of supremacy. You know what I'm saying? Act of supremacy is usually after the word that describes something good. Unless, again, maybe they think it's good. We should then, and if that's then the case, black people should not use the term white supremacy ever. Yeah, it's either white power domination or white racism. But there's no supremacy about anything that they've done to us over the past 500 years. It's through terror and fear and murder and abuse. That's what they've managed. That's not supremacy. You understand what I'm saying? If they did it through total intellect and total manipulation of their arts and their forms, and you know what I mean? If they did it through that way, then you say, yeah, the white people are very superior. If they could levitate and read minds from a distance, yeah, you could say, yeah, you know, they've got a superiority that we don't have. They don't have none of that. All they have is viciousness, brutality, and savagery that other white people who've got white parents and all that only want to see what's on television and the commercials, and then say, oh yeah, it's savage when something happens in another country, or when somebody attacks somebody in Britain and tries to chop off their head, or but not looking at the entire savagery that the white people have planted across the planet over the past few centuries, and want to say, oh, you're racist. You can only be racist if you're being prejudiced against somebody else. But if you're talking the truth, this is what they're trying to shut down. If you're talking what you've read, if you're talking what's able to be accessed by other people, and you're just giving your account of what can be accessed, because that's what I'm doing. I'm not saying, yeah, white people, they like to eat cheese, or white people, they're full of shit, and you know,
right.
that's rhetoric. That's rubbish.
Doctor, I'm gonna ask you this question now. What do you say to the black man, right? That says all black woman, yeah. That says, well, my friend Charlie, yeah, their white friend Charlie's a good person. You understand? What do you say to that?
Yeah, it probably is. There's nothing wrong with him being a good person, because like a lot of them have got mixed DNA in them, so they can be moved by other stuff. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, the black people, you know what? When you say to someone, oh, that black guy is an evil, wicked so and so. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, because we're in an environment that can suggest certain vibrations, so you can be a good individual white person, but we're not talking about what the individuals do. We're talking what's happening to the race. Like, I got friends, or I know people who've got big house, 3 car, driveway, this, that, and the other. So what's that mean about? So what does that mean? That means all black people are living well. Then you can't tell. You know what I mean? If you say, all black people are failing in school, does that mean all black people are failing in school? If you say black teenagers are killing people on the street, does that mean all black teenagers are killing people on the street?
What if they say John Brown?
What if they say, what that mean? The one who helped to free the slaves?
Wilberforce.
Yeah, but like I said to you, this is what I'm saying to you, like, there's clear indications of individuals within the white race. I told you it was a white woman that brought me to black, or introduced me to black industry, other than like the Rasta. You know what I'm saying? But in any true sense, it was. You get what I'm saying? In terms of the literary stuff, and she introduced me to Malcolm X. Yeah. So I don't know. So that changes what I'm saying then, does it? You see what I'm saying? Because these people, they're emotive, and they haven't developed emotionally. You know what I'm saying? And some of them are hiding under stuff, so they can't separate the two. Like, that doesn't mean that, you know, I've got white friends. That hasn't got nothing to do with that. If I don't have to have that conversation with them, I won't. Because they can't manage it. I'm not gonna, you know, there's no hypocrisy in that. If, like, you don't tell your child about sex at the age of 3, no sane person does anyway. No one, you know, to mar its mindset for the future. But then you've got a whole race of people that says it's okay to tell a child about transsexualism at the age of 3, because they want to tell them. So they want what they want. You know what I'm saying? But you and I and regular people say, no, that's not right. A lot of white people now are saying, that's not right. You get what I'm trying to say? So it doesn't mean you're talking about every single human. When you say white people, it's different from saying all white people. You understand what I'm saying? That's the difference. White people, saying white people or saying black people is a generalization, like when you say black teenagers are killing each other. So should I then say, what? Not my teenager, not my friend who's a teenager. You know what I'm saying? It's silly. The only reason why white people use it is because they don't like that stigma, because they know it's their history. And they want to control everything. They want to move you away from saying that. So you say something that makes them feel comfortable. There's nothing wrong with what you're saying.
What do you say to the white man? Because a lot of white men will say, well, my family never took part in slavery. So what do you say to that then? To that
family, that's what I'm saying to you. This is what people keep doing. And remember, these arguments have gone on for years. It's not your family we're talking about. It's your race that we're talking about, brother. Yeah, I don't know your family. All I know is about your race. That's what I know. Whether you did or you didn't take part of it, you benefit. Your race benefits from it. The reason why you got all these places to live is because your race abused blacks. The reason why you can go here is because your race abused black. The reason why you've got the passport that goes anywhere. The reason why you're accepted is because you're a fearful group of people that have gone here and abused other people. So whether or not your individual family took part in it, you benefit from it. So that's why I say white people. Not all white people, but white people, because there's a benefit that you all get and you're all living through because of what your race to other races. Yeah, that's what I say to them. So don't give me this. Oh, my friend's a good person and he helped this. That hasn't got nothing to do with your race. You know what I mean? You got what I'm trying to say? Like if you're saying to me like, oh, I know a black person and he can't dance, or something like what? So what's that got to do with anything? You know what I'm saying? Just because one black person, that doesn't mean the race is a particular way aligned. So most people throughout that race can dance. Of course, you're going to get a few people that can't dance. You know what I'm saying? You know, like black people like this type of music. Well, not all, you know, you see what I'm saying? Everybody's using it. Whether it's your family or say, oh, my family is this. But every family ain't that. It's never going to be the case in any family about anything. So when you say, again, the term white people or black people or Asian people, like when call it, it's a generalization which is common in the English language to generalize. There's nothing wrong with it, and there's nothing offensive about that. But if you want to try to manipulate somebody, you can go. They found a way to stop you in your tracks and go, well, I'm offended by that. Well, but you know, it says, so what? I mean, what do you mean you're offended by something that I'm using that's not an offensive term? What? So if I say green and you're offended, I can't say green anymore. You got what I'm trying to say? They're manipulating us. That's what they're doing with these terms.
What about voting? What do you think of voting? Black people voting, you know what I mean?
I've got a meme that I was going to. That's a waste of time. There's a meme in the 1960s, right? There was some people saying, this was 50 years ago, saying vote, stop police. Guess what? Vote, stop police brutality, equality. That was in the 60s, yeah. Guess what the signs say now?
Same thing.
Vote, stop police brutality. 60 years later. You see me out there? Don't make them fool you with them. Don't make them fool. None of them people that fool you with them foolishness. Some of them just don't want to fight. They want to be comfortable when they're going through this thing. This thing takes pain, bro. And most of these people, they like to stay comfortable. So they find the most comfortable way. That's why nothing's not happening. Che Guevara got a bag of shot. You know what I'm saying? So that Castro could carry on. Not that he did it especially for him, but he got a bag of shot. They tried to kill Castro and never managed to do it. How can you change or reform a situation when all you do is collaborate? Most of the politicians in America, they collaborate with the system. You know what I'm saying? They say we're changing. They think if they have one black family, they've done a great job. Again, that's the same mentality about the individual. But the race of people are still suffering. Yeah. Most of the politicians, they collaborate with that system. You know, what's his name? The last politician, the last prime minister, the last president. What's his name again? Obama. Yeah, Obama. He collaborated with the system. At the end of the day, you know, like even the people on the breakfast show was asking, what are you going to do for black people? Now we've seen that you can individually do stuff, you know, like for a group of people, not individually, but you can focus on a group like the homosexuals and the transgender, and you've done things specifically for them. What are you going to do specifically for black people as a group that's been under the no?
What do you think about the new Baptism that's going on in the world?
It's the same.
What I'm just saying that I believe it's a part of what do you call it? Population control. What do you think about that?
It's the same. I mean, like I don't know the ins and outs, because I know he was the guy who whipped the people up to believe in in their party and then gave the mantle over to that witch. You know what I mean? So I would never trust somebody like that.
Who you talking about? Who you talking about?
What are you talking about? Bernie Sanders?
No, I'm not talking about Baptism, man. I'm talking about the gay agenda. Say. I don't care about Bernie Sanders, man. I don't. I mean, I'm like you, bro. I don't really believe in. I don't believe in the vote can do a black people a damn thing. Because they can just lie afterwards anyway. So even if they do make a promise, they just lie.
As we just said, for the past 50 years, they've been doing the same thing, and black people still want to fight. It's like what they say is the definition of madness. Is anything over and over and expecting a different result. Now, black people want to go back and vote again.
What about Brett? I see them do something about Brexit or something like they try to get black people involved in the Brexit business.
They've got that type of power until one of these African states have a nuclear weapon, and have power that they can reign on the rest of the world. Until they have that, black people don't really have a say. You know what I mean? Indians got a say because they got the Pakistanis got, because remember, these people, the white race is a warmongering race. So the only way they're gonna respect you is if you got something for them to fear. You understand what I'm saying? They're not gonna respect you because you've got a good argument. We've seen that over the many years. You know what I'm saying? Good arguments is not what they respect you by. They respect you by the power you can wield. And what you try to do is cement themselves in everything that you're doing, so that they have some of that power that you're trying to wield. Like whether you're Oprah Winfrey, whether you're the BET, Black Entertainment Television, they'll cement themselves in there so they can control the power that you have.
No, I believe that if our people could get together, and put aside our personal differences, right, amongst ourselves, right, we don't even have to there won't even be no bloodshed, because all we have to do is just straight resist, boycott. You know what I mean? Don't go turn up to work, say, look, go to the I don't know, the devil won't like this one, go to Windsor Castle, go to the Queen's place, she's the one running this, and say, look, we ain't leaving until you let us go back to Africa and let us have our own land. And I'm saying the only way we won't fall back, we would have to give back the devil all his shit. I mean, the internet, the TVs, his everything, and just restart and do our own thing, bro. That's the only way. If we ain't gonna do that, if we love the internet and love their ways and their video games and that, we're done.
You're still creating your own personal utopia that won't exist in this place. That's a personal utopia that you've just created that's not going to exist. So even creating a utopia, you have to have power. If you they will beat the fuck out of you if you go to Winston Castle. Don't you see what they do?
No, if it's every Negro. Not if it was every Negro in the country. They ain't got enough jail space for that.
But that's what I'm saying to you. That's a utopia. That's not going to happen ever.
Yeah, I know it won't happen because we're not in unison. That's what I'm saying. But I believe it can be overturned tomorrow.
Nothing on the face of the planet has ever been in that much. That's never going to happen. So to me, that's idealistic. That's not going to happen. What I am, and if you even have half the amount of people that do that, they'll beat the fuck out of you. They're noted. They're noted for their violence. Bro, I'm not even. It's not meant as a joke, you know.
I know that.
Noted for their violence towards black.
You think that they would lay us all out outside the castle? You think they'll just you think they'll just have the guns and just lay out 1 million Negroes?
Listen, bro. They bombed black people inside their own territories. They bombed black people inside their own territories. They've turned black people. They've poisoned black people inside their own territories. They've diseased black nations across the planet with specific man-made diseases. You tell it what you, bro. It's like I don't think you talk about the devil, but it's like you don't really understand how they function, because you can't eliminate anything that they've done without looking back at what they do. Look at what they do. This is who they are. They're not moved to another state where they become a new re-evolved people. They are the same people, the children of the same people whose children used to lick lollipops and watch us dangling from ropes.
No,
they're the same people who used to watch their own people chop off each other's heads. So
that's why I said, like the Bible says, and Jesus, he said, give unto Caesar what is of Caesar's and give unto God what is of to God. So I'm just saying here, that's what I'm saying. If you give him all his shit back, you're not using his internet. We ain't using his TV. We ain't using his money, nothing.
Nah, you can't.
if we was
not gonna
down for it.
happen.
I know it ain't gonna happen, brother, but I'm just saying.
Okay, well,
I know it ain't gonna happen, brother. I already know it ain't gonna happen, but I'm saying
it's almost
I
like
think that's the only way we could be left in peace. I believe.
no,
If
that's
we
not
all,
how
I believe that's the only way we could be left
they're
in
not.
peace.
They're not going to leave you. What? You
Giving back
can't
to
run
this
from
shit.
them. They don't leave you alone. They will chase you and wipe you out. If you make yourself that vulnerable, they will wipe you out. They'll see whatever you got and wipe you out. They're not like that. They're not they're not human like that. They don't have that type of humanity. They will find you and wipe you out. If they're looking to wipe you out as you live now, with what you know now, in the places you are in hospitals, in politics and all that, and they're looking to wipe you out now, you're going to give up all their stuff, have no real defense against them, live in peace, and think they're just going to let you go. They will murder the last lot of you. You know what I'm saying? On your way to wherever you're going. Whatever ship you get on, they bomb that Ras. Before you reach wherever, you'll be wiped out in an instant. They
Look,
do
there's more
not.
blacks on the planet than there is and than white people, man. Way more.
Bro, you can say that, yeah, but most black people now have been touched by that white DNA.
I'm not saying to go to war, you know. I agree with you that that's the devil's. I don't agree with going to war.
Devil,
I
bro.
believe that's the devil's playing ground, yeah.
What I'm saying
But I'm saying, go on.
is the race of people that run this planet, you know what I'm saying, are violent, unmerciful, and warlike. You cannot. I don't know if anybody's come up with a right and a solution, but you know when Jesus said, "Give unto Caesar what is Caesar," he meant the money. Give the money to Caesar. That's what he meant. He meant because the money that they were getting was Caesar's money. He didn't give up everything to Caesar. He said, "Give them their money back." So like buy stuff with their money. Like if you're gonna buy stuff, use their money. It's their money. He didn't mean like give everything over. Like give everything over. Like your whole possessions. It means give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. So you give him your money, buy your things, but then when it comes to you giving you the spirit and your love and your heart, that's what that term was relating to. So you're not going to be able to give up all your stuff, the internet.
I don't agree with. I don't feel like I have to give up my clothes. I earn that, innit? So I'm just saying, like things like you know, like they're things that they can control us, like the TV, the internet, things like that, and go and live a natural life. Yeah.
Go on whose ship to go where?
I say we need to live a natural, holistic life, man. Because the food's poisoned, everything's messed out here, man.
Where would you live that life? What ship would you go on to find that place?
What shit? And I'm just saying, if we could find some land, there's probably some fruitful land in Africa. We could put our money together and get it.
The other day they bombed the plane with people that knew about how to change HIV. Got mashed down the other day. Yeah. How would you escape this place if they know that a whole bunch of people are going towards freedom and da da da? If you're a meaningless group and you're not on their radar whatsoever, you could go wherever you like. If you're a group that's gonna make a difference and a change, that plane ain't gonna land. That plane's getting bombed to Ross. You better know what you're doing.
I believe if we was in unison, but brother, that's why I said if we was in unison, if we had this, if all I believe, if every black person had my mind, we would be free tomorrow, bro. Everything will change tomorrow, bro.
Bro. But I'm saying you think that's the case. But I think personally, you're slightly, you know what I mean, deluded by that mindset. I'm telling you. I don't think you truly understand where we're living. I don't think that's my view about you. No disrespect.
Maybe it's the Jesus Christ teaching. Maybe.
I don't. I don't
maybe
think
it's that.
What we're in amongst. I don't think you truly understand. We are and you mentioned the devil. And I don't think if you look at what the devil has done and how low he can go and the things that he's done, the demonic things he's done, even just 9/11 will show you what he's capable of doing to his own people.
We've never been in unison, bro. We've never been in unison.
You know, Saddam Hussein, you know what I'm saying? Libya, I can just keep going on. He's not.
But brother, we've never been in unison though, brother. I don't know a time when we've been in unison to fight. We've never actually fought, really. I'm just saying we've never actually been in unison as black people, man. That's why.
Unison, you need a process. And the process takes time. And in that time you're trying to get to that process, he's watching. Do you think why didn't he let Gaddafi finish his process? You know what I'm saying? He was trying to unite people. Why didn't he let JFK finish his process as the president? Do you think he allows people to finish their processes?
They never had enough numbers, you know what I mean? And
Okay, bro.
he put a lot of bad propaganda against the Libyans. So people thought they were fighting a good war, you know, like in Jamaica, right? My grandparents said, raw, when the devil first come over there and said he wanted to fight the war in Germany, they say that if they don't fight the war, then Hitler's gonna put them in chains in them way there. He's gonna put them back on the plantation again. So they scaremongered us in the Caribbean to fight that war. You understand? And that's what they do most of the time. Even in Vietnam, I heard that Vietnam had posts up saying, "Black man, go home. This ain't your war." And they captured some blacks and they sent them back out. I said, "Look, man, this ain't your war." When they were fighting against the Americans were fighting against Vietnam.
Yeah, I heard. I know that. I don't know what point you're making now, bro. But what I'm saying is that no matter what you're saying, that's not the people that you're up against. That peaceful people that's going to let you do what you want to do. So that we just never had enough numbers. You have to get the numbers. And like I said, you know, Gaddafi had tanks, weapons, airplanes, numbers. He had everything, and they still took him out. I'm not saying that it's impossible. What I'm saying to you, some over-the-air plan like what you just said, like that comes out your mouth just like that. It won't be that type of plan. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be far more sophisticated than just what you just said.
No, I don't believe there's gonna be any, you know, until the devil dies out. You know, it's just gonna be like this, you know, until we can get righteous, unless the people can get righteous, that's the only way, you know what I mean?
See, where we differ, you sound like all righteous and all this kind of stuff. Right. You come from more of a religious perspective, I don't. So that's why.
I know, and that's all good, bro. We're still brothers, though. So at the end of the day, I ain't gonna separate just because, you know, and I understand that we're different because, you know, you probably just see Jesus as nothing, and you know, I understand. Yeah. I'm cool with that. I ain't sensitive or nothing like that. You get me? I believe that I don't deal with religion. My only religion is to treat everyone the way I want to be treated. Even if you white, I'm still gonna give you love. You know what I mean?
All right, bro.
But I'm not gonna hold back the truth, though. And you know what I mean? I'm still telling the truth.
We're at 11:30 now, bro. I should have finished at 11.
Sorry, brother. Peace.
It's all good. It's good one there. Respect, bro. Content.
Yes, Father X. I'm there. Yeah, I just saw the time as well. Yeah, I've been in the background sending out links, so I just saw the time for my thing.
Yeah, it's cool though. You know what I'm saying?
I'll have to start the next show after this one wrap up still.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. But like I said, you know, again, for those that are listening, you know, I mean, I think next time probably we just like have to cut some of the people if they, you know, directly, you know, they're off topic because I mean, I think I went some stuff that I didn't really get to press more on what I was trying to say, you know, like just to get into more of the way I was talking about social controlling media and stuff like that. But it's all good. It still did what it did. The next one is the love hypothesis as well. So we'll talk about
the love hypothesis.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, you know, this whole idea of love in the black community and all that. And people need to know this as well. Like, it's a black thing, whether you like it or not. You want to say it's racist or whatever, like Sophia, woman was saying.
Sophia.
Yeah, it's up to you. That's up to you. But you have in that sense you have a choice. Either listen or you don't. But this is, you know, I'm coming from a black perspective and what's happening to black people. Doesn't mean that I don't like white people. Doesn't mean I don't like that. But this is what all scholars do of all people of any race that wants to talk about an individual situation. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to see it that way and you want to emotionalize it that way, that's how you're busy. I know my business. So you know what I mean? Just keep it moving.
All right. I don't know.
All right then. Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah. So we'll catch up in a week still.
Yeah, don't know for the X, man. Peace, man.
All right, peace. All
right, cool. Respect for everybody for tuning in to the Ghetto ology show. Yeah, that's how it done. Next 2 weeks is gonna be the love hypothesis. You hear me?
Yeah, straight.
Yeah, so that's still. I might go live again in a couple minutes after this one done. I'm gonna see still because there was some war going on in the background, some unrelated things still.
All right, then. Cool, bro.
Let's see if we can make that happen. But yeah, X man, don't know, fam. And we link up during the week, innit?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Don't know. All right, supreme respect for coming in as well, fam. Yeah, man.
Yeah, respect for all the callers.